Hello, everyone out there, boys, girls, and MBs. Welcome to Tales on Tap. We have a very, very special game, a premiere episode of our new campaign for you tonight, and we are all very excited to bring that to your eyes and to your screens. But it's not just me here. There are many other people here helping me. Say hello, guys.
Hello.
Slightly different arrangement to what you're used to, but don't worry, you'll get used to it because we're going to be in this arrangement for the next 6 months or so. Settle in, get ready. We're also changing things around in terms of how we're doing the announcements. Obviously, I am now in the main controlling DM chair, and I can do things like this.
It feels nice, right? Yeah.
Give us some announcements.
Okay. So, over the last few weeks, as we've been telling you, tonight is the first episode of Sins of the PeaceKeeper, and this is going to be going on for the next 6 months. But if you want to catch up on any of our previous episodes, they are available in podcast form and as VODs on YouTube, so you can find them anywhere you cast your pods or over on YouTube. And if you head over to YouTube, which we've seen astronomical growth on over the last few weeks, then if you're not subscribed to that, then subscribe, and you can see our back catalogue of all the previous campaigns that we've played, any one-shots, some cool reviews, as well as a new video that was posted up recently about how to play D&D. If you're new to the game, or if you know people who are new to the game, then send them that way. With a bit of a brighter look to the future, we have something that was announced last week in full. We are going to be going to the Preston Gaming and Fantasy Con on September the 28th. I never do this right. Like, the dates are always the thing that fuck me up. So September the 28th in Preston at 53 degrees, where it's a full day's con. So there's lots of people in the industry going to be there, lots of sellers. There's going to be some immersive stuff happening. But the highlight, in our opinion, of that day is that we here at Tales on Tap are actually going to be doing a live show on the big stage at that con, which isn't nerve-wracking at all. So that will be the first and only time within the next 6 months that I will be DMing anything. So if you want to see me DM again, then buy a ticket and get it now. And we'll see you on September the 28th. But we're going to do some like cool little heist show thing, which is going to be quite cool. So if you want to come and see us live and then come and get to, come and chill with us during the day, then go to Preston Fantasy and Gaming Con on the 28th of September. And then, yeah, that is pretty much all we're doing. There is other stuff that we're working on. So there is, as I'm sure you know, we went to the UK Games Expo recently. We interviewed a load of folks. Some of that has had to be put on the back burner a little bit because we've been preparing for this. But those will now become our full focus as we move forward, and we will see lots of interviews from lots of famous people and lots of people within the industry. So go over to YouTube and check us out there, because that's where all the stuff will happen.
Do you see the power that I have now, audience? I can just point at people and they say stuff when I tell them to. That was very good, Dan. Thank you very much. I now understand. I don't understand how this power didn't go to your head over the last couple of years. It will certainly be going to mine. Let's try this again. Han, yes. We are still very much sponsored for this campaign. So why don't you tell us about one of those?
Indeed. New campaign, but same sponsors. Awfully Queer Heroes, two incredible individuals who create neurodivergent accessible and queer-friendly content, including maps, modules, campaigns, NPCs, spellbooks, all the like. You can find them on their Patreon or their drive-through link, which is down in the dungeon below, so be sure to go check them out.
Thank you very much, Han. Here's me in the background screwing up the music already. I hope no one minded that. Teething problems, guys. This is my first time behind the controls, partially. So bear with us if there's any kind of stuff like that this evening. But let's continue with our sponsors. Natalie, can you tell us about one of our others?
Absolutely. The lovely people over at Valkyrie RPG do lovely dice, terrain, t-shirts, all your goodies. If you just want stickers and stuff, pins, they do all the goodies that are tabletop orientated. Don't forget to add our Tales 10 at checkout for 10% off. That works on everything bar subscription boxes. All the details are in the dungeon.
Thank you very much. And Dan, would you like to tell us about our other sponsor?
Sure, why not? If you like combat and combat-related things and background-related things and token-related things, then you should make your way over to... Oh, no.
Oh, no.
We got there.
remember this. I've done this before. We love you, Tom. We really do. Please keep supporting us. That was my fault, not theirs. If you like virtual backgrounds, map books, tokens, both real and fake, I would say fake on the internet in digital form, it's real in your mind, then go over to Tom Cartost and all his different things, support things. I've really messed this up. I wasn't prepared. I don't know why it's felt like it's been so long. Go support them. They're really good. Thank you.
So we only have to do it every Tuesday, Dan. We're good.
Yeah, we're embodying new characters tonight, so it seems like a lot of Dan's mind from the previous weeks has been left in the background. He's
I'm playing a fuck up now.
And on to our last but certainly not least, Evan, would you like to tell us about what's happening on social media?
No.
Okay. Please.
Social media, as you might have seen, because I haven't stopped posting ever since Tuesday, I think. There's been a lot going on, obviously, with this new campaign that we are premiering today, which is really exciting. But on the horizon, we also have a couple of, half-secret projects, I guess, that are going to be coming up a few bits and bobs about. So if you are not already following us on all the social medias, what are you doing? Go and follow us. All the links are down in the dungeon.
Indeed, yeah. There's been a lot of promotional and kind of primer materials that we've been putting out about this campaign. So after this episode, if you want to go check out our social medias, you'll find a lot more information about Sins of the Peacekeeper, about these characters that you're going to be witnessing this evening. Now, you can watch Tales on Tap for free. We're all happy to have you here. But if you do fancy kicking back a little bit to us, you can subscribe via Twitch, which only costs £5 or $5, depending on where you are. And that helps us. Or if you can't really stretch that far, do not worry, there is an alternative. If you have a Amazon Prime account, you can link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account and get a free subscription to a streamer of your choice. We hope it's us. At least we hope it's someone within the tabletop RPG community. But yeah, if you feel like chucking that our way, link up your account, Twitch Prime, and that helps us build on what we've already established here. You can also, you've done the podcast. Sorry, I'm used to doing my thing, so I'm going back over mine.
You good?
That's fine. So, we are about to embark on a new journey, a fantasy noir adventure featuring all new characters, an all new setting within the world of Aerilon that you've never seen before. Sit back, get yourself a drink, get yourself refreshed and snacks, popcorn at hand. We're about to dive in to tonight's episode of Tales on Tap.
Tales on Tap.
Have you ever been trapped in a box? 4 grey walls, barely a letterbox through which to see the light and hear the sounds creep in from the world beyond. You hear the wind through the trees just beyond your reach. You hear the temple bells echo over the rooftops and leak through the stone. You can almost see it, like a poster on the wall of a happy little town square on a summer's day. But you peel off the poster in your mind's eye, hoping for a way to get there. But behind it is just more grey wall. Your mind searches for an escape, but that fruitless search only serves to make you feel more confined and disconnected. Then one day, you leave the box. You walk out into the open air, the bustling streets, surrounded by people floating through life, like everything they know can't be snatched from them in a moment. And then you start to realise you never left the cage. You just stepped out into a bigger one. Maybe that's for the best. We open to the smoky back room of a tavern. Behind a desk littered with gold and silver coins, blueprints, photographs, and assorted things, stands a wall of a half-orc. Looking out a window while smoking a thick cigar, the grey light of an overcast day streaking through its blinds, patterning his leathery grey skin like a checkers board. All around the room stand his cronies, each looking sternly to a chair in the centre of the room on which sits a human man. "You ever been in a cell, Reginald?" the orc boss says, as he pushes a small pair of dark glasses up from his nose to cover his eyes and turns to the man in the chair. "Oh yeah, mate, the fucking worst of them. You make it sound quite nice, actually, if a bit macabre." On the table, he throws what looks like a polished steel and perhaps antique silver circlet, with a recess at its front peak. And as we focus back at the owner of the hand which placed it, a tired-looking, middle-aged, slightly portly human male, wearing glasses that one arm seems to have been repaired with tape. His receding long hair looks wet, as if he'd been standing in the rain for some time, but the shoulders of his greying beige raincoat show no signs of moisture. A black tie drapes loosely from his neck, half undone, failing to conceal the stains on his off-white shirt. He sits reclined on the rickety chair, his legs wide as he taps a limply rolled cigarette on the face of his wristwatch. "Now, how about you pay me for this thing so I can get a move on, eh?" "Well, that's funny, actually. See, a few little buzzards told me that your little heist didn't go quite as planned." "Yeah, I should bloody hope so." "Explain yourself. We had a deal, and whatever you've brought me here, I'm not stupid enough to fall for some ruse." He finishes tapping the cigarette on his watch and places it into the corner of his mouth. "Oh no. Well, you might want to reconsider that, because acquiring such an artifact as this, well, you can't just go in and nab it, can you? You think the heist failed because I fucking made sure they thought it did. Best way to move stolen goods is to convince the original owners that it was never stolen in the first place." "Bullshit." "Yeah, could be. But your skinny mate over there has been licking his lips ever since I put it on the table, so why don't you have them verify what I'm saying and pay me my fucking money?" From one corner of the room, as the half-orc boss turns and acknowledges a skinny, slightly moist-skinned Triton, as with a flop of hair over one side of the face, they step towards the desk where this circlet is placed and pull a almost milk bottle thick monocle over one of their eyes, which flashes and sort of sizzles with a hiss. Yeah, I mean, it all looks pretty good to me, boss, but we should probably get Cantor to have a look. "There's no time for that." The orc pushes the Triton out the way and goes to pick up the circlet from the table. But the receding, long, wet-haired man reaches forward and grabs it before he can. Ah! Actually, mate, the price has just doubled. You what? He boots the desk on which the circlet is sat, pushing the desk back into the man in the chair as he flips back and rolls backwards off the back of the chair, hitting the door behind him, going through it until he is laying flat on the ground of the tavern proper behind. You see, that's the problem with little mugs like you. You've got no ambition. Get me the stone. The Triton runs off to the back of the room and then comes forward, holding a grey, silvery stone. As the half-orc goes to take it from the Triton, the man lying on the floor says, well, if that's how you want to play it. The half-orc ignores him, takes the circlet and begins to place the stone into the recess. Oh, that's how I want to play it, all right. Ah! He puts the circle on his head, looks around the room as if he was expecting something more. The man on the floor continues to laugh. Oh, I bet you feel like a right bunch of lemons, don't you? At that moment, the entire tavern erupts into a brawl as if completely spontaneously. And here is where we come to our players. I would like you all individually, as you are in this room, you are involved in this combat. Now you are initiating this combat. I'm going to go through to you each individually. I would like you to describe to me your first combat action and nothing else. Let's go first to Dan. DM Dan.
I step forward, almost positioning myself in the middle of the room proper. Place one hand on my chest and shouts to the room. Right. Well, if any of you are fucking big enough, and I throw my hand out as I channel divinity, champion challenge, and I need everyone who is an enemy within this space to make a DC 15 wisdom saving throw.
Okay.
And
So-
if they fail, they cannot willingly move away from me.
Interesting. As you leap up from your chair and make this address to the room, there are upwards of 20 mobsters surrounding you. It seems like the rest of you are very much in the minority in this combat situation. We'll come back to that. Evan, could you please describe to me your first combat action?
From a shadowy corner, blood starts to drip up a handle of a giant maul, and as it reaches the top, it ignites into flame. And with a rush of speed, the hammer swings wildly into one person, cracking its sternum and sends it flying into two people behind him.
And you do. This person flies backwards and almost turns sideways as they fly through the air, clotheslining two more goons behind him. Daniel, would you please describe to me your first combat action?
Most likely, having been sat facing away from the action, as it all starts to erupt, you see them spin on their heel almost instantaneously with a big swish of their cloak, and you just see their arms like this.
Ooh.
And as this happens, from their forehead, you see a 30 by 30 flat yet three-dimensional image of a cuttlefish. Two tentacles out, three pointed down. as it begins to flash and shimmer with this sort of pulsating wave as a hypnotic pattern spreads across the ceiling, enrapturing everyone who looks towards it.
Fantastic, and it does. Multicolored flashing lights fill the once dingy space, and people aren't really sure how to react. Some of them just go slack-jawed, staring at the ceiling, or rather at this phantom cuttlefish that has appeared in the middle of the tavern. Natalie, would you please describe to us your first combat action?
Yep. So you don't really see her. She's actually behind like a big pillar. What you see is her very small hand and then just balls of light exploding as I'm going to cast color spray to try and blind as many people as I can.
Interesting. So those who don't get enraptured by this colourful affair from the cuttlefish just below the ceiling try to focus in on the combat at hand, but are immediately sprayed in the face with a kaleidoscope of colour, confusing and blinding some of them. Han, would you please describe your first combat action for us?
Amidst the chaos, there is a resounding noise of the hammer of a gun cocking and then a crack as a bullet fires through the air, aiming towards the half-orc individual, and a disarming shot aimed at the crown, the circlet upon his head, is fired.
Fantastic. The shot fires out. The crown ping, falls off his head. What's going on here? Absolute bedlam erupts in this tavern. About 10 people charge at the individual in the middle of the room who summoned them to him. Others try and break away from this cloak on their mind caused by the various flashes of colours. Further gunshots ring out. If we were looking at this tavern from outside, there would be flashes and shouts and pops. Chaos erupts. Until eventually there is a bright white flash. We come to a room, darkly lit. Only one spotlight illuminates the area. In its center, a desk, and at it sits two individuals, and on the other side, another two individuals. Insubordination, failure to carry out direct orders from a superior officer, conspiracy to denounce the Valvarian March and several Valvarian parliamentary figures, assault of a commanding officer. And that's not to mention he thumbs through a few pieces of paper. 13 other less serious but still very court-martialable offences. Lieutenant Westwood, what have you to say in your defence? Han, would you please describe your character for us, please?
You see sat on the other side of this table a half-elven individual, around 5'10", but posture slightly slumped over at the moment, kind of withdrawn from the figure next to him. This mop of jet black hair, very, very curly, frames his face. This growing in kind of stubble, deep brown eyes stare out, kind of a bit of a scoff on his face, a bit of a disheveled white shirt, but a kind of cropped vest cardigan, kind of giving cozy punk vibes, some big boots on his feet. Yes, cozy punk is what I'm going for here. You see this individual kind of look up, not properly wanting to meet their gaze, and just like, whatever I say in my defense, you're going to use against me anyway, so what is the point?
Your shoulder is grabbed immediately by the individual sitting next to you. Would
Father,
you like to
please.
would you like to describe your father to us?
Yeah, of course. You see a human individual next to Jax. Around, it's looking pretty good for his age. Got kind of a bit of salt and pepper hair, very, very prim and proper little coif going on. Very neatly trimmed facial hair, lighter brown eyes, and dressed extremely like prim and proper, officially like screaming professionalism and respect.
So to complete this picture, Jax, you know one of the individuals sitting opposite you. One of them is Admiral Enoch Gross, who is the Admiral of the Valgir. He's a dwarven man, wide in the shoulder as he is tall, leathery tanned skin and a very round, domed, bald head, which wrinkles with his frown. Atop which sits a rather tall military cap that swoops out to the front, and he has a bushy grey moustache that covers his mouth entirely. Sitting next to him, just out of view, is another figure sat at the table, but we'll get to them. Your father grabs your shoulder. We have all been to war, Admiral, and we all here know what war can do to a man. The figure sitting next to the Admiral says, man or otherwise, and this draws your attention to him. A slender form, wearing a black suit and tie with a clean white shirt. They pick their fingernails, and as they raise their hand to their mouth, it disappears into a curtain of darkness where his face is, as it lies just outside the illumination of the spotlight in the center of the room. At this interruption, your father turns to this individual. And who's this? Some bureaucrat? Or is it Crown Service? Well, if I wanted to talk to a ghost, I'd have a fucking seance. Admiral Gross interrupts. Major Westwood. Astor. Please. The slender individual speaks up again. We're not here to talk to you, Major. We're here about young Jasper here. Enoch pipes up again. Major, we recognize the service your family has done to this city and the talents of the young lieutenant here. But the Valvarian March cannot abide dissent amongst its ranks, at least of all for the war divers. Therefore, it is by my order, and at this point, the slender individual turns and takes the Admiral in. By my order, Lieutenant Westwood of the War Divers 6th Battalion be transferred out of service. Transfer? Preposterous! You expect a Westwood to be in service amongst the Castilias, or worse, the Custodes Populi? Come on, Jasper, we're taking this to the top, and he begins to stand up. The Admiral interrupts this. What's the word I'm looking for?
Exchange.
No, not exchange, but fine, we'll go past it. Yeah. You do as you please, Major, but my order is final. Jasper, hand over your service weapon. He'll do no such thing. The suited individual once again interrupts. There is a pause, and the Admiral leans over to the shadowy figure. Firearms are a technology under the jurisdiction of the Valgir of the Valvarian March, and I, as Admiral, have sworn an oath to prohibit their use to anyone outside our ranks. Are you saying you violated that oath when you bestowed such a weapon on the young lieutenant? The young lieutenant here? There's another pause, a tense pause. He huffs and begins to walk around the table. Astor, we should speak in private. But, Major, that is an order. Jax, your father, reluctantly takes one glance over to you and holds your gaze for a moment. You kind of look at the floor, noticing he's looking at you, but fail to meet his gaze. He stands up sharply and begins to leave the room with the Admiral. The slender figure stands up, walks to the table, and where there is a file containing your various grievances and missteps, he closes it. He's right, you know. Your actions and disposition have proven you unsuitable for military rank. However, you still may be of some good around here. Head down the hall to your left, take the fourth door on the right, labeled Room 7P. Instructions will be waiting you there. Dismissed. And he leads back into the shadow.
As Jax is dismissed, he kind of slowly gets up and walks to the door and just turns back. If my actions are worthy of these consequences, might want to do a bit of a deeper dive into the other war divers. And with that, leaves.
He makes no utterance in response. He simply watches you leave. You step out into the hallway, and the building that you're in is very, very neat and clean. The walls, floor, and ceilings are all brilliant white. In fact, the ceiling in its entirety seems to be emitting light. There are no light fixtures, no torches. The ceiling itself is glowing and illuminating this corridor. And it's quite thin. There are black doors all the way down and black skirting boards along the bottom of the floor. You turn as directed and head down past a few doors until you come to a door marked 7P. And as you step through, you're in very much a similar room that you were before. A square room, a little bit better lit than the last one you were in, and at each north, south, west, east face of the room, there is a door. The only other individual standing in this room stands to one side, arms crossed. Dan, would you please describe your character to us, please?
Yeah. So, standing just above 6 feet, so 6'1" you see quite a strapping human man. Big shoulders, big chest, big biceps. Not barbarian-esque, but of a formidable form. They have long-ish brown locks. I would like to tell you how long their hair is, but they don't know. Because as you look at them in the eye, you cannot see them. Stood before you is a blind individual with a blindfold across a dark black cotton wrap spanning the whole width of their face and tied behind their head. A mop of brownish hair on their chin, jaw, and cheeks. You see they are semi-well-dressed, almost like myself this evening. A white, short-collared shirt, but unlike me this evening, because it's humid as fuck, they are wearing a black waistcoat, buttoned all the way to the top, completely buttoned up. At this stage, you don't see any weaponry on them, but you do see that on their shoulders is a leather... what's it called?
Scabbard?
Holster? Harness?
Harness, thank you. Like a leather harness that has a scabbard on the back, on the crest of their shoulders. No sword in such a scabbard, but they stand with arms folded, sort of not leaning, but very much a stoic pose. There is no sign of idleness or laziness in them. This isn't a lean against the wall to rest. This is very much upright, arms crossed at ease, stands. Their heads tilted slightly down.
Arturius, this calming, rhythmical ticking of the clock in one side of the room is interrupted by a door opening and footsteps entering the room, a single pair.
I keep my head pointed down towards the ground.
I was told to come to this room.
Arturius, you have just come from a similar but different meeting to the one that we just saw Jax having. You two have been reassigned to where you do not yet know, but you have been told to enter this room and await instruction.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, so you're not... Okay, you're not in charge.
Who says
Oh,
I'm? Who
hello.
says I'm not in charge?
Well, if you were told to come to this room, then someone's telling you what to do.
Doesn't everybody tell everybody what to do?
Another door opens at the north face. Not the door that you entered through, Jax, and not the door that you entered through, Artorius. A third door. And being led inside by a Earth Genasi woman with a skirt suit combo, holding a clipboard, enters the room, steps aside, and through walking slightly confused, slightly lackadaisically, other Dan, could you please describe your character, please, as they enter, escorted into this room?
So you watch sort of step in from behind somebody who is quite clearly covering their eyes from what is essentially halogen lighting from above and sort of very unhappy with the amount of unnatural light that seems to be coming down on them. You see, compared to the both of you, a willowy-looking individual, very slight in frame, but there still seems to be enough athleticism there for them to be able to move and walk around. This palish, moon-whitish skin that has very few tinges of color to it. Wild purple hair that seems to flare out from the back of their head, sort of where the crown would be, it just sticks up. It seems to move ever so slightly on its own. Big, thick purple eyebrows, deep purple eyes. He's wearing a dark crimson red turtleneck and a big, long black duster coat, sort of a few belts around his waist, and then long knee-high boots over just sort of normal black trousers. You can see on both of his hands very fine-looking leather gloves. And as they sort of walk in and look around, it's like, no, I don't know. It's just too much unnatural light. I don't want to be in here. This is not okay. Where am I going again? I'm sorry. Can you tell me what's going on, please?
Just remain here for now. Instructions will be brought to you momentarily.
Okay, and who are they?
They are your colleagues. She walks
why?
out the door you came in and leaves the three of you in this room.
Oh, no, okay.
The door shuts behind you.
Okay, that's a lot of noise. That's okay. Hello, new people. And you just sort of see them like stutter, move around, and then find a wall somewhere and just sort of place themselves like next to it and just sort of keep themselves in shade for the time being.
Jax, you'll see that Artorius' head just kind of turns ever so slightly towards where Dan's character is, and then just straight back down without saying a word. Like,
Jax kind of
directly at where Artemis is. Like, not in and around, just directly bang where Artemis is stood, and then back down.
Yeah. Jax kind of, as this individual is ushered through the door.
In my name, I just realized.
And is having issues with the light, because Jax himself has also been squinting a little bit, irritated by how like the bright white light that's coming from these bulbs has just been squinting. It's just like, yeah, it's a bit much, isn't it? The light here.
Yeah, it's just a way for them to control us. They want to put us in fake light so we never see the real stuff.
The final door, which no one has yet entered, opens. And in walks a tall half-elven male, again wearing a black suit, white shirt, black tie. He's got very slicked back blonde hair and a scar at the corner of his mouth which goes up to his cheek. He's carrying a small pale yellow folder which he places on a small almost coffee table in the center of the room and then leaves.
This is all very cryptic.
Yeah, that's the way they want to keep us in the dark, so we don't know what we're doing.
I like you.
You don't know me well enough to like me yet, but I like you too.
Jax.
Artemis J. Stringfield, but you can call me Gil or Gilly if you want to, whatever comes off the tongue better.
Gilly. Pleasure to meet you, Gilly. And you? Fancy giving your name or wanting to keep that to yourself?
You can call me Arthur.
Arthur and Gilly.
And you?
Jax.
Arthur, Gilly, and Jax. Arthur, Gilly, Jax. Arthur, Gilly. Okay.
Points at himself. This folder just sits in the center of the room between all of you as you stand at separate walls.
Arthur will step forward, walk immediately up, pick up the folder, and hold it out to Jax and goes, "Do me a fucking favor, will you?"
Kind of prying it from Arthur's hand.
It's completely bewildering that I can walk up, pick it up, but that's where it stops. I just hands it over immediately.
It's just out of this image of you, like, I go up and just smack it off the table, try and find it.
Some experiments need to be done here.
Just immediately, just start clicking like a dolphin.
I can look at a folder. No, I will grab it from Arthur's hand and I will kind of nonchalantly flick it open. Just
you flick open the folder, and inside the folder is a singular sheet of paper, written in typeface in the center of the piece of paper are just a few words. The words say Baker's View Square. Gone.
I cast Fireball.
Last fall, everyone dies. There is written just a few words. Baker's View Square, Witham, toll of midday. Signed, Regent. And that's it.
Well,
looks like directions to go to somewhere in Witham. Baker's View Square. Toll of midday.
Let's have, I'll say Arturius and Jax. Let's have you both make history checks. History or survival, we'll say, whichever you prefer.
What do I have in history?
Oh, I have a plus 2.
I'll go survival. I think.
I looked at survival and went, nope.
City campaign. Well, you'll be all right.
Yeah. It's a 15 on history for me.
Okay.
Oh, it's an 8.
Okay.
On survival.
Jax, you haven't got down to Witham too much. This is a very big city. You're mostly based on the eastern side of the city, whereas Witham takes up a large portion of the western side of the city. But Arturius, you know of Witham. You know it quite well. You've been there a few times in your previous position, shall we say. And you have a loose knowledge of Baker's Square. You're pretty sure it's only a couple of minutes walk from one of the local Silver Canal stations.
Okay. Do I have an understanding of what time it is now?
It is fairly early in the morning. You're probably you reported here quite early, probably about 8 or 9 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
The discussion and conversation or interview or interrogation that you kind of had only lasted maybe 20 minutes. So we're approaching sort of 10 a.m., 10:30 a.m. at latest.
And it's not a 2-hour trip to get there.
Not by the Silver Canal.
Okay.
Or if you wanted to get a cart, you could probably get there in an hour and a half.
Okay. Right.
Silver Canal would be quicker, maybe about 40 minutes.
Well, Baker Square it is. You guys know where you're going?
I mean, haven't really ventured that far. Took down to Witham since being back, so not really, no.
What about you?
At this point, Gil has turned around from the wall and come over and is now looking at this sort of square of paper, sort of close enough to your walls. Do we just leave? I didn't think we could just do that. I thought we were under court-martial or in more trouble than we are. Let's do we just go? Can we just go? Should we? I don't know.
Do you know where you're going if you are to go?
Going to Baker Street, right? It was a good song.
Nope.
Okay, then I'll follow you.
Nope.
Why? We're a team. They told me.
They told you that we're a team.
Yes, the woman. She just said that. I asked who you were. She said, you are part of my unit now, so you are part of my unit.
Fuck.
Did you not hear? Is your hearing not as good as your sight as well?
No, it is.
We need to help you.
But she, unfortunately, as much as I would like to trust the words that are coming out of your mouth, I don't. So until somebody with proper authority tells me that you're part of my unit.
What's
If
proper
you-
authority?
She did just say we were colleagues.
Oh, well, that solves that mystery. Right, fucking, let's go then.
No, but you're right. It could be. I mean,
You can walk further ahead of us if you want to feel like you're not with us. That's fine. You don't have to stay with me and Jack. You can walk on ahead. It's okay.
How would I know if I am ahead or not?
I don't know. How do you know where things are on the table? You just know things.
Yeah, I do. Look, it's probably like an hour and a half to walk. We could probably stop and get a beer on the way. I know a few
You shouldn't drink on the job.
Well, you can have water, but I need a fucking whiskey after the meeting I've just had. You look like a whiskey drinker to me. Not that I know what you look like, but I get the sense that you're a whiskey drinker. And look, if you are, I know a few places. Let's go get a drink and then Baker Square after that.
All right.
Also, can you guys hear that fucking clock?
Yeah, it's really getting to me.
Can you guys see the fucking clock?
Arcane lights, it's not good. It's always
Yeah, can I find the clock in the room?
The clock is very clearly displayed on the wall.
Right,
It's called
can I-
past 10.
Yeah, no, can I disable the clock
You have your gun.
to stop it from ticking?
How?
Yeah.
I'm proficient in tinkering tools. Can I open it? Like, can I get it off the wall?
Take
Well, let's have
take
you-
the batteries out. Fuck them up.
let's have you make a tinker's check.
Nice.
Oh, I haven't created a skill yet. What's our proficiency? Okay, so that's cocked.
Dex plus
That's
proficiency.
cocked. Yeah, hang on. Okay, that is a 24.
Okay. You reach up and you kind of click it open and you see the machinations going around and you just kind of take one of the pins off of your cardigan and just slip it in just as one of the things tick and it stops.
Oh,
That's good. Are you
Yeah.
looking for secret cameras like I do?
what?
Are you looking for in the clocks?
Oh, I was
The
just
things they
trying to
use to watch us. The higher ups. They're always watching.
Artorius just turns and walks towards the door to leave as soon as he asks that question.
He's not very nice. I don't think he likes me. Okay, this is not going well.
Want to hear
Should
more
we
about
move?
this clock thing later? Suggestion though, use this, and I give him the folder to kind of use as a little tent above his eyes, so he can just like hold it.
Puts it on his head and just like, that's much better. Thank you.
There you go.
Okay.
As we walk out with the orders.
You all begin to make your way out of the room that you're in, down a few more corridors, and you come into a much more normal looking, but still very official building. There's lots of people running around. You all know where you are because you reported here this morning. You are in Vigilance House on the palace grounds. As you step outside onto the palace grounds, into the city of Valvaris proper, From this vantage point on the palace grounds atop the plateau, you see Valvaris in all of its splendor and all of its melancholy. This vast city that stretches almost to the horizon. There are pillars of smoke from industrial sectors on the horizon. There are large cathedrals poking out from the tall buildings. And you begin to make your way where?
So we're going to head south. I think we're going to take a... so you said, the Silver Canal.
Yes.
But we are only going to go to the edge of the district because there is a dive bar that I would assume that Artorius would know that I'm going to take us to first. And these guys would have... But I'm not going to fucking say a word. For all intents and purposes, I'm leading them to Baker Square.
Okay. So you board you begin walking away from Vigilance House, and as you look behind you to take it in, you see the vast citadel, castle, palace that is Valvarok, the royal castle and palace. Next to it, you see Vigilance House, this sort of obelisk-looking building of smooth marble, windows along the bottom, but once you get past maybe the third or fourth or fifth floor, it's just a solid block. Very imposing structure. You head your way towards the nearest Silver Canal station. Would anyone like to describe what the Silver Canal is? Or does anyone feel good about doing that? Or shall I take that?
I'll tell you how it looks to me, if you like.
Yeah, sure. Give it to me in your mind's eye.
So how Artorius would envision the Silver Canal would be this rather upscaled, beautiful canal, clear as crystal blue waters.
I'm going to stop you there.
Yeah, no, but I'm telling you what he would imagine it is. So crystal clear blue waters with these sort of gondola-esque barges that go up and down the canal quite frequently. And that is how Artorius pictures it in his mind. DM, could you tell us how it actually is?
Well, in truth, the Silver Canal is a mass transit system, the main mass transit system of Valvaris. It is a elevated railed transport system, almost like a monorail or the sort of New York train system that follows the contours of the original wall of Valvaris before the Great Expansion. It's used by most folks, probably more so folks with a little bit of money, because there is a fee to ride the Silver Canal. And there are tracked carts that go along the Silver Canal in both directions, clockwise and anti-clockwise, at great speed. It's the best way to get around Valvaris, but costs a little bit of money, so it's more of a privileged affair. But you all are able to afford the toll. It's only a silver piece to ride. You board the Silver Canal, and the doors are pulled open by the canal workers as you step onto one of the carriages. It flies around the city. It goes first through Marble Arches, the main sort of judiciary and civil centre of Valvaris. These marble streets and buildings, very opulent area, scattered with small gardens here and there. Marble Arches, the Marble Garden is very much where most of the business of governing is done within Valvaris. It then passes down to the outskirts of Witham. You see the Crystal Plaza in the distance as it just kind of skirts around the outside where the giant multicolored sky shard crystal of Valvaris sits floating in the air of the Crystal Plaza. As you begin to travel through the route through Witham, you see Witham is very much a mixed bag. It's got some historical tones to it. Witham once represented the majority of Valvarok before the Great Valvaris before the Great Expansion. So there are some smaller industrial areas. There's some high streets with markets that you travel over. Many residential areas. Some upmarket, some less so. But you come to the station that you're looking for, Witham South, and you begin to step off of the Silver Canal and into the streets. Arturius, you know of a place close to Witham South Station. A little place called the Goose and Feather. You step into it. You've not been there often enough to know the proprietor, but it's the familiar sounds greet your ears. The other two of you begin stepping in. You approach the bar, order yourselves a drink, and gather around the table as you hear the temple bell outside strike 11.
So I would ask both of them what they'd like to drink, and I will cover the cost of this. I'll pay for both of their drinks. I will slide Jax's over to them, and I will pick both mine and Artemis's drink up and walk both of them to the table, sit down at the table. As soon as all three sit down, I will slide Artemis's drink over to them, keep my hand on them, on the cup, look up directly towards them and go, I never said I didn't like you. Just don't fucking know you. So why don't we remedy that?
Okay, how are we going to remedy this?
Well, look, my name's Arthur. Artorius, but Arthur. Been in the city a while. Kind of maybe have messed up my last job. And this is how I found myself here with you fine folk. We're Artemis J. Stringfield. You can call me Gilly or Gil. I may have made a mistake in my work, in my line too, and now here I am. I didn't mean to. It's just what happens when your mind gets out of control. I don't know what that means, but look, we're here for a reason. They've told us obviously to go to this place for a reason. Does anyone want to hazard a guess as to why that is?
I mean, honestly, I'm surprised I was told I could still be useful.
Me too.
Why? Wait, what? So this charge, this destination we're going to is for a righteous cause that's to do the things that others can't do. Right?
I have no idea.
You sound like you know. Are you asking a question?
No, it's just how I interpreted what they were saying to me in the meeting.
I'm gonna be honest, I thought we were gonna get shunted off somewhere.
Is that not what we've been doing? We've been shunted
No,
off
as in
somewhere.
somewhere more, not free to go to a bar and drink whiskey. This is excellent, by the way. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Oh, thank you, Arthur. It was nice of you.
Yeah, it's good. Look, I'm gonna be straight with you guys. This doesn't fucking sit right with me. Like, why would we been brought together on our own? Like, just thrown together, expected just to get along, go with the status quo.
It's a
and
test.
Look,
maybe it's to see how we initially interact, and then they go from there.
Maybe our individual talents are too useful to be let go, but too important to be locked up, so they've put us into a team. So they don't have to lose us, but they don't have to take responsibility for us.
I don't like that.
This conversation continues for a short while. You guys sort of semi-familiarizing yourselves with each other, but each kind of putting up some walls that you don't want to break down quite yet. You discuss the possibilities of what has brought you back together, why you've been given so little information to go on, and this location where you are supposed to find out more. After about half an hour, you begin to feel like you should probably get moving if you want to make it in time for the toll of midday.
Arthur will order a last whiskey, drop the coppers on the side, down it as we leave. And just kind of like... Ready?
Lead the way.
As I'll ever be.
Does that not strike you as odd to ask a blind man to... Anyway.
Not really.
And he
Just
legitimately,
incredibly
like,
competent.
hand on the door, opens the door, walks out, doesn't knock or barge into any tables, chairs, door frames, nothing, just walks as if normal.
Artemis looks to Jax as Arthur just sort of very deftly weaves through a crowd of people outdoors. Is he really blind, or is he just putting this on? I don't understand what he expects us to think. Is this
I
an
don't
act?
think you can ask if somebody's really blind or not.
Why? He doesn't seem to act like he is.
Gil, make an insight check.
On why you can't ask people inappropriate questions. That's an 18.
18. As you're walking through this next sort of stint from the Goose and Feather towards Baker's Square, Baker's View Square, you sort of keep an eye on Arturius as he moves through the crowd. He is definitely getting out of the way of people quite consciously, trying not to bump into anyone. You'd think someone of his disposition, even if he could see, would probably shoulder barge a couple of people out the way, but he is being very considerate of those around him. The cloth over his eyes seems to be opaque. It does not appear to be mesh or anything like that. So whatever he's doing, he's aware of his surroundings, though somehow not through vision.
Sort of studying this as we go, a small part of Artemis is fighting back every urge to start picking things up and just putting in the way to see if like things are going to happen, but then sort of remembers that Jax is just, you're right, you can't question people this way. It's not the way things are done. So he's like, okay, cool, that's fine. He's just that's fine. And you can sort of hear this muttering to himself as he seems to be sort of just very aptly paying attention to Arthur.
Okay. You reach Baker's View Square in the south of Witham, and you see in the middle of the square is a fountain. Standing by the fountain, kind of pacing backwards and forwards, Evan, would you please describe your character to us, please?
Certainly. So I guess the first thing that you would notice is that this guy is standing at about 6'1", and he is ripped. You can clearly tell, despite the fact that he's wearing half-plate armor, he has very broad shoulders, sort of medium-long, wavy brown hair, very sharp jawline that is sort of outlined with a full beard. And he is very restlessly walking back and forth, pacing, holding what looks to be like a crystalline maul in his hand. Now, it's obvious that this maul is made for two-handed combat, but he's pacing with it like it's a warhammer. And he's checking around, looking for people, but he's also constantly checking back to his bag that he's having thrown over to the left side of his waist.
Marcus, you this morning arrived at the Argent Tower and were denied entry. You were told, just get out of here. Go home. Take the week off. We've got to deal with the mess you made. And as you stepped away, you were bumped into by an individual in a black suit with a black tie and a white shirt. And as they bumped into you, they passed you a carefully folded letter, which said, Baker's View Square, toll of midday, by the fountain, signed Regent. The three of you who have just arrived, the square is bustling. There is a greengrocer's nearby, which people are coming and going from. A lot of people are wandering around. Baker's View Square is a very transitional area. There's not a lot of people hanging around apart from the people who own the local stores and a couple of old men feeding the pigeons. And you notice this character, this individual pacing by the fountain as someone who stands out. You're approaching the toll of midday. What would you like to do?
I think Artorius would just, as we get towards where the fountain is, he would sense that. Oh, would I assume that when I get within a certain range, I'm going to sense this individual like pacing back and forth, right? In the area.
Yeah, you sense a very different vibe to this person. Everyone else is just sort of meandering around this person who's sort of stuck in place and seems to be pacing anxiously.
You would probably hear a little bit of clinking as well from his armor. It's not the most quiet.
Okay. I'm going to position myself that I walk towards the fountain as he turns to walk, and I will walk directly in his path, and I will slow my walk to make sure that I intersect him at around 5 feet. Pause. Sorry, pause.
Pause.
I will pause.
Pause for him to drop.
I'll pause. Turn the head towards Marcus. Turn it back. Continue walking. Turn and sit on the fountain. And as I do, I'm going to cross my arms. And Jax and Artemis will probably watch. My head will just follow where his steps are. As it seems that I'm watching him walk up and down, but I do not speak to him.
Okay. Marcus, can I get a perception check from you? Because you said you were sort of keeping an eye on things, any curious individuals, and also checking your bag. But let me just get a perception check for that.
Yeah. 17.
17. So you do notice these individuals, these, not strange, well, for the most part, not strange individuals walking towards. You notice this one blindfolded individual stop just shy of you for a moment, and then go sit on the fountain. This is out of the ordinary.
Yeah, as this blind man slows his walk towards me, I think Marcus would automatically sidestep, just out of concern of this blind person bumping into him, and then realize that it's not going to happen.
There's a slight step to the side, almost as you stop. There's a slight step to the side, as if you were going to keep going, and that makes you curious.
So after following with my gaze towards the fountain where he sits down, I would turn my head back again towards the two other individuals and spot the sort of weird piece of parchment over one of the heads.
Oh no, that's come off.
I think he's taking that off now.
It's facts. Artemis is a vampire.
Weirdly.
Well, if that's not the case, then
I think just so you kind of know where we are, I think Jack sort of slowed his pace slightly on approach of the fountain, having seen this individual kind of pacing, kind of clearly waiting for something, and we'll kind of just go to Gilly. I think we may have more company.
There's this. Sorry.
There you go.
No, go ahead.
You're probably right. I can't imagine 3's going to do the jobs, and well, there's probably more. I don't know. He looks intimidating.
He looks buff.
I've never seen armor with abs before. It's weird.
This kind of strange standoff that the four of you are having, where you're all kind of every now and then glancing over to each other, like sharing these looks of, are we here for you? Like, are you here for us? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Did you respond to our ad on Craigslist?
Lumiel, this morning you woke up in a cell. Much like you have for the past week.
Yep.
But you were awoken today not by a tray sliding under the door, but by the door opening. A slender Githyanki woman in a black suit with a white shirt and a black tie stepped in. You have been relieved of your charge and of your position.
Okay. I mean, I kind of get it.
You will no longer.
Why?
You will no longer serve as an ACR agent. The arcane items which you stole were of great importance, but we are willing to overlook this on the one condition.
Yeah.
She throws a folder onto the floor of the cell. You open it up, and within it is a single piece of paper. Written on there is Baker's View Square, by the fountain, toll of midday, signed Regent. You read this piece of paper, confused, and as you look up to ask more questions, the woman is gone, and the door is open.
Hello? Am I supposed to... Oh. Okay, I guess I just leave then. And she is saying this out loud. As she walks out of the cell.
Sure, you walk out of the stockade of, what's it called again? Hang on. Procurement House. The ACR headquarters. You step out onto the street and you are immediately relieved by your newfound freedom. You thought you were fucked, right? you thought you were in a lot of trouble, but for some reason you've been let out and all you've got to go on is this slip of paper, a location and the time. You got a couple of hours until then. So you're like, fucking hey, it's the morning. I'm going to go have breakfast. I'm going to go have a nice time. You get a little bit carried away with that. And you realize not 15 minutes to noon that if you don't hurry your ass up, you are going to be late.
Yeah.
The rest of you, sitting, standing, pacing around this fountain, the sort of calm and confusion is broken by a voice crying out, "I'm late, I'm sorry," from down the road as Lumiel, you begin to approach the fountain where you see these bunch of people sitting around.
And exactly that. So you... Should I describe what I look like?
Yeah, please describe
okay.
your approach.
So you see approaching you in a very speedy hurry this small, like, I mean, if she stretches, she's 2 foot. Slender, blonde-haired fairy. And the only reason you can tell that she's a fairy because she's not actually walking, because she's trying to get there as fast as she can. She's actually flying, but on the ground level, trying to get in between people. And she is, oh, I'm late, I'm so sorry. And she's dithery. So you see that she is got this. She's kind of got this top jacket, which is like a greeny blue with leather straps, and she's got these boots with little daggers tucked inside them, but you can just about see the hilt of the daggers. But the main thing you can notice about it is a very luminescent blue wings that come from her back. As she approaches and she looks around, you can also see that she has sort of very delicate tattoos on her forehead and her cheek. Is this the place? I'm pretty sure this place. And she pulls out the note. And she looks up at Jax.
You guys all see this
Regent?
note come out of this small fairy's pocket, and it looks familiar to all of you, even though you didn't acknowledge it amongst yourselves previously.
Regent?
No. Take it you're not Regent then. Kind of.
I'm not Regent.
No. This also isn't Regent. This is Gilly.
Hi.
Hi.
Just out of curiosity, what do I know of
I thought you
fairies?
were talking to me then. Jesus, carry on.
Yeah, I'm talking to you. You are DM now, right?
Yeah, that's weird.
Just in sort of the line of work I've been in, what do I know of? Are fairies common outside of the Fey realms in this realm, or is this quite a surprise to see, relatively speaking?
It's I wouldn't go as far as to say it's a surprise. There are definitely Fey and fairy folk that live in Valvaris, much as there are every other type of folk that live in Valvaris. It's not unheard of. It is somewhat rare. I think you've probably strayed up to Varvaden a few times, which is where a lot of the sort of Fey and Elven population tend to congregate towards. It's much more of a greener kind of communal gardens and small huts and stuff like that, rather than the built-up city. It's just kind of up tucked in one corner. And you've seen some fairies there before, so it's not rare. I mean, it's rare, but it's not a shock.
Just wondering.
You're not like, holy shit, a mythical creature. You're like, oh, it's a fairy. You don't see a lot of those.
I just meant like relative to where we are, but yeah, that's good.
As you were guys, sorry, and someone else was going to say something as well, right?
I think
Said my name.
Arthur at this point, hearing this kind of chat between this new individual and Jax, will take out a copper coin from their coin purse on their hip, hold it in their hand, begin to whisper a few words, and then flick it over their shoulder into the fountain.
Ding! Dong! Dong! Dong!
That's
12.
right, motherfuckers. I wish for time to fast forward.
Damn, he's good.
Temple tolls ring out in the distance from Harmony Hall, the main temple of the city, which can be heard throughout the entirety of Valvaris. And just before the final bong, right, where is this sitting then, is it? You all turn to see this kind of slightly hunched over, kind of greasy looking, slightly portly bloke in a long greyish beige sort of trench coat, raincoat with straps on the shoulders, a loosely sort of pulled away tie. And he looks all at you. Well, is this it then, is it? Oh, fuck, you know, they ain't sent me a bunch of gormless faces again, have they? Oh, and what do you speak up?
Regent?
Oh, one of you caught on. Well done. So this is what they've given me, is it? He kind of steps back to take all of you in. Alright. Lights a cigarette. Alright. Well, now you're here. No, you are all here. That's right. Alright, well, I'm Regent. I'll be looking after you for a little while, and you're here to work for me.
Arthur will stand up from the fountain, walk up to where this voice is coming from, just kind of nod and go, "Sir."
I've not been called that in a while. Fucking hell. All right. I can work with this. All right. Here's your first job. See that place over there? And if you look across the Baker's View Square, and there is a tavern by the name of...
Arthur just goes, "No." See that place over there? Are you fucking about? No, I'm joking.
He does go. He goes, "See that place over there? Not you." And you see the rest of you see a tavern called O'Gromley's Tap, and it's very kind of, the windows are almost like newspapered over and dirty around the edges. The apostrophe is kind of slanted over to almost make a hyphen in the O'Gromley, and the P on the tap is kind of also a little bit wonky. I need to get something from in there, and I need you lot to help me. So, there's a bloke in there. He's got a stone that I really need. It's kept in a safe, but I'll try and get him to get it out. When I give the signal, I want you to all fucking cause chaos and get that stone to me. All right?
Right.
"Sir."
Lumiel just smiles at the thought of chaos. She's like,
You've done this before, right? Looking at Lumiel.
I don't know what you're implying, but I am up for the job.
Sorry, question. Who are you, and why are we working for you, and what form of the government do you work for, and why are you in charge of us now?
I don't work for the fucking government, mate. And neither do you anymore. You work for me.
So who are you, and what do you work for?
Let's answer some questions later. First, I need to know that you're worthy of the knowledge. I need to know that you've got the skills that I need.
It seems
And
like...
happy?
No, but
I'm happy.
sure.
I'm no longer. I'm happy.
Good. That's what I like to hear. I like my employees to be happy. And he kind of smiles at you a little bit. Now, remember, not until I give the signal. And he turns to begin to walk away.
Communicate that
What's the signal?
"Sir."
Sorry.
Oh, right. Yeah. He grabs a lemon off of the grocer's that you guys were sort of standing near by the fountain, picks up a lemon, throws it to Artorius. Lemons. There you go. Come on.
Artorius kind of like turns the lemon towards him, doesn't look at it, walks up to the market seller, puts the lemon back and goes, "Terribly sorry."
That's perfectly fine. It's only a copper piece if you'd like it. They're very good today.
"Get fucked."
Oh,
And he just kind of like turns and kind of follows and goes,
maybe you could do with something sweeter, you arsehole.
Artemis sort of sidles up alongside with like a silver piece and goes, I'll have 3 lemons, please. Sorry for him. He is, I don't know. And he's just going to put down a silver piece, take 3 lemons, look to the group and goes, well, you know what they say when life gives you. Let's go do terrible things, apparently. And like shoves lemons in his pockets, unsure what to actually do with them now, and just starts walking.
He begins to walk over to O'Gromley's and he sort of turns back to us. Oh, one more thing. Probably best that we don't walk in there together. There's a bunch of really horrible fuckers in there. So you're probably going to want to sort of stagger, keep a low profile until you hear the signal. Lemons, right?
Lemons.
No, you can... Whatever. They might come in handy. And he kind of just leans back against the wall. Oh, go on. I'm not going in first. That's what I got you for.
Artorius.
Oh, fuck it.
Kind of like hears Marcus go, "Fuck it," and just kind of looks and goes, "Fuck it." Kind of like puts his hand on Marcus's shoulder and just kind of like goes like that as Marcus is walking him in.
Yep. As we're starting to walk, I'm just turning my head slightly towards Artorias and goes, believe it or not, this is not the weirdest fucking day I've had. I've had worse.
Yeah, I fucking believe it.
You guys head in as the remaining three of you are stood there. Regent stubs out his cigarette, stamps on it, begins to roll another immediately. Go on, you waiting for me to give you a slap up the arse or a kiss goodbye?
No, don't touch me. I don't know how to look not conspicuous. Look at me.
A place like this, mate, it's probably best that you don't. Maybe make yourself look a bit rough.
Okay, rough. Sure.
I mean, that did nothing, but sure.
He did nothing. I just messed it up more.
Nice.
Kind of weirdly, and tries to make his way to a table where those two have gone or something.
Okay. Point of clarification, by the way, you guys who were at the Crown's Service HQ, you picked up your weapons from the check-in as you left, so you are fully equipped now. That goes for the rest of you guys as well. You begin to make your way in. How are you going about getting in there without being too conspicuous, or to make yourself conspicuous enough so as to not be suspicious?
So as Marcus and I walk in, I will kind of hold my hand out, like knock a chair to one side a little bit and go, oh,
hey, what you doing? Look out for yourself.
Sorry.
No, my apologies.
Sorry,
old man.
And he just kind of like pulls the chair and just kind of taps on the shoulder and goes, thanks, mate.
Let me get a deception check with advantage, because you are acting as a blind man. And I'll give you advantage on that, because let's face it.
That is a dirty 20, so... Oh, no, sorry, 18.
Okay. That's fine. No one seems to turn eye. There's the one guy who turns around, but then noticing you're blind, kind of grims back to himself. There's lots of people playing cards and shit there.
As soon as I tap Marcus on the shoulder and sit down, I get my coin purse out and start fumbling with coins. Turn around to the individual that kind of accosted me and goes, do me a favour, get me a whiskey, and here's one for you. And I'll throw like 3 copper on the table, which is clearly not enough.
Yeah.
But like, and I'll kind of like start trying to fasten my coin pouch, but I'll fumble it a couple of times, drop it, and kind of fucking drop it on the floor.
He holds his gaze and watches you fumble around, and then he turns to Marcus, who he is assuming is your minder right now.
Well, I'm expecting Marcus to have walked on at this point, but
yeah. As soon as he sits down, Marcus goes and stands in a corner, in like the darkest corner he can.
Fine. So you sneak off. Give me a stealth check just to see if you can, blend in a little bit in this dark corner. Who's going in next?
Holy shit.
What'd you get?
I have disadvantage on stealth, and I got a 22.
Hell yeah! Okay, cool. You do. Almost the kerfuffle that Artorias is making allows you to kind of slip round the back of people who are turning around, and you just find yourself a little corner booth and just sit there quietly. Artemis.
Yes. Sort of trying to think of the best kind of caliber of person he would assume to be in a bar like this, having been in many himself, but never really knowing it, using prestidigitation as he walks forward. He's essentially going to dirty his hair so he slicks it back like it's sort of like a greaser. Mm-hmm. Puts like a small beauty mark mole under one eye. Sort of like adopts a kind of walk that he would assume someone tough would have, which looks more like a limp, sort of. And is just going to kind of make his way to the bar. It's like, excuse me, my good man, can I have some of your finest alcoholic beverage?
I think you might have had enough, mate.
I've not had enough. Indubitably, sir. Not that kind of day.
In what?
It's been a rough couple of hours this morning.
Make a persuasion check.
Yeah.
I love them so much. I'm obsessed.
Weirdly, he's a charismatic character. It's a 13.
Oh, okay. Doobidaboo. And he pours out a flagon of ale.
Is that what that sounds like?
Yeah, it's
hell.
gun. The taps have not been cleaned in this place. It comes out like the bubbles on top are very big bubbles. Like it's that kind of pint. And you are able to get in, and you sort of hang out the bar, and people are kind of semi trying to avoid you. The other two, how are you getting in?
I'm just walking through.
Just walking through, casual
Yeah.
as anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Lumiel, you're doing the same.
No, when Jax goes in, I'm gonna come in the door, and then I'm going to just try and find a dark spot that or maybe under a table or something. I'm trying to sneak in rather than because I know that I don't belong in this place.
Jax, if I'll have you just make a straight charisma check. If you're proficient with intimidation, I'll let you add that.
I am.
Hey,
Hey.
Lumiel, let me get a stealth check from you, please.
This tray's not working. I'm just gonna roll on my desk.
Because you're just kind of tough. You're just kind of trying to tough it in, right?
Yeah, pretty much. It's a 14.
Okay. There's a few people looking over at you. There's a few people sizing you up, but you're not causing any trouble. But there is a couple of eyes on you. And Lumiel?
Oh, 27.
Oh.
27.
And I didn't roll in that 20.
Barely. The people that are looking at Jax, the people that are kind of avoiding Artemis and all the other stuff that's going on in the tavern, you are able to sneak in without even anyone glancing an eye at you. You guys take up your positions, and you see Regent walk straight through the bar and into a door at the back. After a few minutes, conversation heats up from behind the door. Arturius, you can hear this quite clearly. You begin to hear the discussion that we went through at the beginning of this episode. As it gets louder and louder, you hear a great crash, and you see Regent backflip out of the door and into the tavern, lying face first, on his back. You see this large half-orc pick up this circlet and ching, put the thing in it, and you hear from Regent, "Oh, you must feel like a right bunch of lemons now." And that's where we're going to take a break.
Nice.
It's epic.
Amazing.
So, stick around for the break, everyone, because we've actually got something. Those of you who have been subscribed to our YouTube channel will have seen this already, but those of you who are not, this is going to be a little bit of a primer for this campaign. So you're going to learn a little bit more about these characters that you've been watching so far. You're going to learn a little bit more about the setting. So please do stick around from that. There'll also be some words from our sponsors after that. Thank you very much. Join us again in part 2. Aerilon, Sins of the Peacekeeper unfolds in the expansive metropolis of Valvaris. It's the crown jewel of Aerilon. Some might consider the capital city of the wider Aerilon, and it's often referred to as the oldest city. Valvaris has grown significantly and exponentially over the previous centuries, expanding far beyond its original walled boundaries. Unlike typical Dungeons and Dragons city settings, which often sort of focus on a singular or just a couple of themes, like Waterdeep being a bastion of trade and opportunity, or Candlekeep being, a fortress of scholarly pursuits. Valvaris is a diverse metropolis where one can discover a myriad of experiences, pursuits and creeds across its many districts and boroughs, each almost like a city within the city itself. Due to its immense size, significance, diversity of population, range of industries, Valvaris requires a multifaceted approach to law enforcement and national security. Various law enforcement and military entities work collaboratively, or sometimes in opposition with one another, to maintain order and safety for the city and its millions of inhabitants. The members of our party each come from one of these peacekeeping organisations, each forcibly reassigned, shall we say, from their original roles to a clandestine division that prioritises autonomy and plausible deniability in their pursuit of justice and Valvarian security. When I first came to the group with Aerilon, Sins of the Peacekeeper, one of the main things I wanted to get across was that I wanted them to start out, at least, with characters who are deeply flawed. You know, they're in this position for a reason, and I don't think anyone's quite taken that idea and run with it quite as much as Dan has with Artorias.
So you want to know who Artorias is? Well, it's easy, really. He is the strong but silent type. He is a man of honor, but he is deeply flawed. I'm being given the opportunity to be a player again for a long-term campaign, and it's given me the opportunity to explore some very human elements and very human flaws, and that will come to the surface through Artorias.
When approaching a paladin character, it can be very easy to sort of fall into one of two lanes, be it the hero of justice or the scorned, oathbreaker type out for revenge, whereas Artorias has some elements of both of those, but he is also fighting a much more personal war, aside from the spiritual side of his character.
He is a man of action, but will not act unless there is due cause. He's all about justice, really, as well. Like, he wants to ensure that people are treated fairly, people are treated right, but if you're a wrong'un, he'll put the sword to you, without a second thought.
Yeah, what can be said about Jax? I don't want to give too many spoilers away. He's not so much standoffish, more kind of reserved. He's not going to be the first person in the room to say something, but he's also not afraid to speak up for what he believes in. Well, his values are super important. He is a single father of 2 cats living in the Grand Market. He's got a bit of a grungy little apartment with kind of tinkering tables around, various like pulleys and mechanisms that break so frequently. Think Rodney from Robots in terms of like loving to tinker, but things explode a lot.
There's another aspect to his character, which is that of legacy. He comes from a family who have served Valvaris for generations.
Yeah, I feel like that might come up.
But he has been kind of thrust into the realization that society does come with a very, very human cost.
I think if he were to have a motto, it would probably leech on the back of the War Divers motto as they descend from the skies into battle of down to death.
So the War Divers are what you might consider the Spec Ops branch of the Valvarian March.
But for him, it's down to death of the system. Anarchy, baby!
Marcus, I would describe as more than meets the eye. Marcus is not to be underestimated.
Marcus is a really interesting one because, he is a very capable person, both on the battlefield and in his investigations.
He might be built like, the stereotypical jock, but he is definitely more clever than you think. That sort of brings up the question, what came first, the brains or the brawn?
He's less trying to redeem himself for past mistakes and more trying to navigate his way through the consequences of decisions he made, which at the time seemed like good decisions to make.
Is his reason for being there his fault? That's debatable, maybe.
But actually have much farther reaching consequences both for himself and the people around him and the city of Valvaris than he may have initially realised.
Marcus has a few skeletons in his closet. Usually you go in and you're like, okay, I'm an adventurer. This time around, I have no idea. And that's gonna be insane, and it's scary, but it's also really, really exciting.
Tell you about Lumiere? Well, she loves to be overestimated. And not in the way you might think. So she can be in a room where conversations are happening, where people don't think she really knows what's going on, but she is taking it all in.
Lumiel is definitely going to be the wild card in the party, as Natalie often tends to do.
She's great with details, and she has a long memory. So if you say something or do something that doesn't sit right with her, you can bet your ass that she knows exactly what you said.
They are certainly in this position by their own doing. There is very little manipulation from bureaucrats and higher forces that have gotten Lumiel to where she is. She's a bit of a mischief maker.
More forgive rather than forget. She loves to give people nicknames. She is very friendly and outgoing and personable. She can actually put up with a lot of gruffness before it would bother her. She also knows when to step back.
It's going to be really, really fun to see Lumiel kind of deal with some of the more stoic members of the party and how that is going to clash slightly maybe, but it's going to be an interesting ride for sure.
So I don't know how that's going to fit with the party. We have some interesting names going on so far. She's very aware of her surroundings, so she can fit into most situations comfortably.
Who is Artemis J. Stringfield? He is a character that fundamentally struggles to find a place in the world that seems to struggle to find a place for him.
Artemis is a bit of an enigma. He's figuring some stuff out, both about himself and about the world and its nature, of the nature of being and personality and all these different aspects that make people who they are.
He is different on a number of levels. He has a power that very few others have and could open the world up to him in so many different ways if he really put his mind to it, but he refuses to because he knows the more he does that, the more he will drive away the people he wants to help, wants to be around. He, on a deep level, wants to be accepted, wants to find friends and a place for himself in the world and to help and to be helpful and do good in whatever way he can. He is full of idiosyncrasies, he is strange, he is a wild intellect and a huge imagination. The two often combine to create all kinds of theories and conspiracies.
I sort of see Artemis almost like the sort of Fox Mulder allegory. He's very much in tune with the other side and constantly curious about what else is out there beyond the veil and beyond what the mind allows us to see.
It's going to be interesting and it's going to be fun to be probably the strangest character in a group of very serious, very hardened detectives by the sounds of it, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I like to be strange.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that little break there and that little primer for the world of Valvaris and this party that we've got here today. I hope that's taught you a little bit, but there's more to learn. So let's get back into this, shall we? So, Arturius, you hear the commotion begin to build in the back room, and you hear things escalate. You hear a loud crash, and then bursting from the back room, you see this kind of soggy, sullen character of the Regent fly backwards through the door, do a backwards roll, and land on the flat of his back in the middle of the tavern. You see this large half-orc try to place a glowing silvery stone. All the rest of you see this as well. This glowing silvery stone into this circlet, and nothing happened. You then hear the Regent say, "Oh, you must all feel like a bunch of lemons, mustn't ya?" At that moment, Arturius, you step up and you make your address to the room. And it's a what save, is it?
It's a 15 whiz.
Okay, so I'm going to roll 3...
Dumb save.
15 whiz.
So you might want to finish that.
I'm gonna roll 3d10.
Mm-hmm.
Wisdom, I'm gonna give him a +0.
Okay.
And they will each count for 10 of the people in the room. There's about 30 thugs around you all right now, including the ones who have just come out of the back room. Okay, so we've got a 3, a 14, and a natural 20. So a good 60% of the people in this room are now under the effect and are unable to move away from you. Jax, you fire off a shot. It rips through the this kind of circlet. The circlet itself, the metal or antique silver circlet itself, breaks in half, and the stone flies into the air and bang, 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 bang on the floor into the tavern. Artemis, you begin making these color sprays, these colors and hypnotic patterns. I'm going to do the same again. What's your DC?
I know these things. This is stuff I know about my character. It is a wisdom save of 15.
15. Wisdom again, which is a plus nothing. That's 11, an 18, and a 15.
Mm-hmm.
So only about 10 of you see about 8 of these thugs sort of begin to stand up, seeing what's happening, but then immediately some of them just slump back into their chairs and start looking up. Others are just kind of standing and swaying by the bar looking up, but there are still a lot of aggressive people in here. Most of them right now seem to have their attention on Arturius. A couple of them have sort of turned to Jax as this shot has rung out against their leader. Marcus, remind me again what yours was. You did a
Crimson Right,
and you smacked this person, taking out one of them. It topples onto 2 other thugs who fall prone, but more begin to rush at you. And Lumiel, you fired a color spray. Is that some kind of save?
I roll.
Okay.
It's hit points, isn't it? It's like.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did it roll it? Oh, yeah, it's 10d10. Sorry, 6d10.
Okay, so roll that.
Okay. No, 44.
44. Okay, so you sort of launch this color spray from sort of behind a pillar that you've snuck behind, and it sprays at 2 of the people adjacent to the large grey half-orc, and they both clutch their eyes and begin to rub at them, and they're like, "I can't fucking see! What's going on?" The large grey horse. "Reginald, if that is even your fucking real name, what's the meaning of this?" Can I have all of you roll initiative, please?
Oh, of course.
Oh no.
I feel like I'm Ash again. Let's go.
I am certainly not Liana anymore.
I'm going to come to each individually rather than have you all calling out. So Marcus, Sorry, I should have done this beforehand. Marcus and... Okay. Jax, what's your initiative?
22.
Woo! Artemis, what's your initiative?
11.
11. Arturius, what's your initiative?
17.
17. Marcus?
15.
15. Lumi?
7.
7. Okay. Bad. Pretty good spread, guys. Pretty good spread. Okay. He goes on 20. They go on 10. Okay. 20. 10. Okay, Jax. You're up first. The bar has erupted into chaos. This is a target-rich environment. You are about 30 feet from the center of the room where Arturius has stepped into and is summoning people towards him. You're about 45 feet away from the entrance to the back office where the grey half-orc is stood.
I am going to... Does anybody just in terms of weaponry and stuff around, is it kind of just whatever they've got on their person?
It's mostly bats, blades, and chains.
Okay. I think Jax is going to fire off 2 shots at the people closest to Gilly.
Okay, cool. So as this... what was it again? It was a cuttlefish. as he's sort of doing all this weird stuff and this cuttlefish is floating above him, mesmerizing him, you do see a couple of people shake off and then begin charging at him. Can I take 2 attacks, please? Are you going 1 on each?
Yeah, I'm going to go sharpshooter.
Okay, go ahead.
So that is 16 to hit.
16 hits.
Okay. D10. Okay, so that is 19 points of damage.
19 points of damage as one of them is sort of begins whips out a chain and begins swinging it as they're running towards Artemis. They're just fly to the side as Jax just domes them. They're dead. There's another one running towards There's another one running towards Artemis. Whips out a large sort of machete. Take your second shot.
Yeah, so kind of firing that shot off. So they fire off the shot at the half-orc individual before quickly just over the shoulder at the ones towards Gilly.
Okay, I thought you were firing both shots.
I am. So that was the initial action that we did before. And then kind of moving from that just over the shoulder at the one near Gilly before kind of going low and taking another shot up near to the other one next to Gilly. I wasn't going to do sharpshooter, but it's a 9. So.
9 does miss, unfortunately. A bullet flies and crashes through one of the windows, hopefully hitting no one outside.
I really hope so.
Any bonus actions, or would you like to move anywhere? You do have people beginning to take notice of you and approach you, but the room is quite crowded.
I want to try and move to the far side, just kind of get as out of the way as possible.
Okay,
maybe
are you moving away or
topic.
towards the office? So to give you an idea, the office is on the north side. The entrance/exit that you all came in on is on the east side, and then the rest of the bar takes up the rest.
Probably heading southeast.
Southeast.
So
you're
from
tucking yourself down into the corner.
Yeah.
Okay, you will take an attack of opportunity as there was one person who got close enough to you after that initial shot. That's an 18 to hit.
Hits.
Okay, you take 6 points of damage. Sorry, it's +1, so 8 points of damage.
Okay.
So I did -1 because I'm an idiot. Okay. Anything else?
No, that's me.
Okay. The large half-orc chap who was shot and had the circlet shattered from their hands just leaps forward after the stone and sort of begins to try and grab at it. Makes an extremely horrible dexterity check. He kind of fumbles it and it rolls further into the room. You guys, if anyone's keeping an eye on it, you might have a little bit of a hard time finding it now. Arturius, you're next. You have around, well, actually, you have about 15 people all kind of getting ready to come towards you. There's a lot of them.
Okay, so point of clarity, the action that I took to Champions Challenge, is that part of this turn? That will count as my action, or is this a free action, bonus action movement?
Well, this is a new turn.
Excellent. I cast invisibility on myself immediately, so these 15 individuals just see me disappear.
Okay, cool.
So I stand up, challenge everybody, and go, whoop, out.
Cool.
And once I'm invisible, I'm going to use my full 30 feet of movement to ignore everybody and deftly move through the room into the other room. I can't search for the stone that has just tumbled, but I want to move as far away as possible into that room.
The stone has tumbled into the tavern proper. So it's no longer in the office as far as you're aware. He was shot from the circlet by Jax. He fell out. He tried to jump forward and reach for it, failed his check, and just kind of did the whole like soap grabbing thing where you try and grab the soap and it keeps slipping out of your hands. He did that kind of thing and it rolled further away from him. It's actually probably closer to you now than it was before.
With my... Would I get a sense of where it is in the room then? Hearing it go cling, cling, cling. But
what's your passive perception?
It is not great. It's a 10.
Okay.
I actively... So I can't search for the item on my action, but I will turn invisible with my action. I don't have a bonus action to try and search for it, though. I'm just trying to see if I get a general sense of where it might be.
You did get a general sense of the direction. It's kind of gone... You're kind of off towards the east, kind of close to the door, because you kind of bumped into someone and sat down almost immediately as you got in. So it's more towards the sort of west of you, towards the center of the room. You can make your way there to that rough area if you want.
I'm going to do that, and what I'm going to do, as I move across the room to the west, invisible, I'm going to shuffle my feet in a sort of sweeping pattern until I hear or try to feel the stone against my boot. Okay, as I move across the room in that general direction.
Roll a D100 for me.
I don't want to, but I will. D100.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a 17.
Okay. On a D100.
D100.
Jesus.
I got a 10 and a 7.
Okay. Unfortunately, I wanted high, so you do not hear anything. You are going to take a couple of attacks of opportunity at disadvantage because people see you disappear. They kind of hear some of these sweeps. But they're focused on you. They're trying to wail where you were.
I like it.
So
go for it.
With disadvantage, first one is a 6. I'm going to do 3. Second one's 8. Last one's a 2. So these calls are just smashing chains and throwing daggers at the floor. You're sort of deftly moving around, kind of listening for the sweeping of things through the air as you duck out their way, trying to sort of sweep around to see if you can find this stone, which you're unsuccessful doing, but you don't get hit by the many people who are about to hit. Marcus, you're up. Unless there's anything else.
I would like to expend the... I would like to, as my bonus action, harness divine power to get my invisibility spell back.
Okay, sure, you do that, but you maintain the invisibility, right? You doesn't cancel it.
No. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, Marcus, you're up.
Right. So after the first sort of swing against the person who just
a couple more people begin to fill the gap where those people got pushed back.
As they start to fill in the gaps, I'm gonna look towards Regent. Are the people towards Regent coming towards him on the ground?
So you see Regent is kind of he's kind of lifting himself up from the floor. You see him kind of palm around a little bit and he goes, grabs something, and it's his cigarette, which is now bent almost in an L shape. He begins to he's beginning to get up and light his cigarette again, which had just been trampled by someone.
Okay. And are there people around him? Coming towards him?
There's people everywhere, bro.
In that case, Marcus is gonna smile towards the people coming towards him.
Okay.
And fumble in his bag quickly, take out what looks to be like a small vial, and shove it in his arm.
Okay, and it's got a little pin tip on the top of it, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. So as the liquid drains, he starts to the veins on his neck and his arms start to turn black, and they sort of start to pump as if black blood is pumping through his veins. As I use my potency mutagen to gain +3 to my strength score.
Okay,
So
nice.
I now have a strength of 20.
Very nice. Very nice.
And I'm just gonna charge through the people coming towards me and take a baseball bat swing towards the people around Regent.
Okay. Obviously, this is a bit more of a cinematic combat than a proper rules combat right now. I'm going to have you make an athletics check to barge through around 3 people.
Yep. So that is, let's see, athletics. Where's my skills? So that's +8. So that's a 25.
Okay, yeah, I rolled a 9 and a 10 with a +2. So you just kind of, with your maul, are you two-handing your maul at this point, or one-handing still?
I'm one-handing it, but as I start to charge towards them, I bring it up and sort of go, cross-check in hockey.
Clothesline 2 people, one with the maul end, one with the butt. Poof, they both fall prone immediately, and you have your target in front of you to make a swing.
And taking a swing towards the head of the people who are surrounding Regent.
Okay, you do, and as you do, make that attack, please.
Let's see, the first one's a 16.
Okay, that hits.
Cool. And that is, I also took full damage from my Crimson Right because I need to. So that is, let's see, these 2 are for the maul. That's not too good. That is 10 and +4 fire damage, so 14.
14 total. Okay,
Yeah.
you push these 2 guys prone, step forward another 5 feet, and take a swing at someone who is priming himself to stab Regent in the back. As you do, the maul clocks them. They go flying back. Not dead, but very, very injured. But just as your maul passes over where he's getting up, the maul passes over just over Regent's head. And he kind of feels the breeze of it.
And then I'm gonna take a round swing and then smack another person straight in the face with it, and
Okay,
sort of
cool.
see if I can get him down.
Yeah, go for it.
That's a nat 20.
Natural
Whee.
20! First chunky crit of the fucking game! Let's go! If you're new to Tales on Tap, we do chunky crits here. If the player gets a natural 20 on a combat attack, they get a chunky crit, which does more nasty stuff. So,
I have new dice coming my way, but I think I might keep this one.
okay, so let's get the damage first.
Yep. Okay, that is 8 doubled is 16 +5. That is 21.
Roll me a d20 for the
Wait a second. Plus another 8, so 29. 8 of those are fire damage.
Oh, there's more!
I don't feel quite as bad about killing anyone now.
Okay, yes, you do. So this one person that you knocked previously, they get sort of thrown back 5 feet onto the floor, bloodied in the face. Regent just stands up just as the hammer comes over him, and you see someone running up behind the Regent again with kind of a short sword just ready to slash at his back. He sort of hears them coming, ducks, and you straight in this guy's face. Give me the chunky crit roll for a start.
Yeah, sure. 19.
19. Okay. So the effect of that is Miracle Strike. The foe must make a DC 20 Constitution save or fall unconscious. You rolled a 1.
Nice!
So you kind of wham this maul into their face, and it bursts with fire. The head is gone, but the body, as it's running, kind of walks a couple more steps, the stump of the neck sliding down the handle of your maul as it kind of and falls limp on the floor.
And then I'm just gonna lean back the maul towards Regent, say, "Do you need a light?"
Oh yeah, actually, that's exactly what I need. Yeah, cheers. And he lights his cigarette off of your maul. Fucking badass, dude. Hell yeah.
No.
Fuck yeah, so
Artemis,
good.
you're up. Unless there's anything else you wanted to do, Marcus.
No, that's me.
It's a very appropriate time for that music to start, but not when I planned it to start, so. Okay. Artemis, you're up.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just still stood at the bar. Having watched everything go down and sort of coming out of the movements now to allow the picture to sort of do its own work.
One person charging at you had their head blown off by Jax. There is still one charging at you.
There's still one charging at me. I see.
And others sort of turning to look at you.
Looking to try and figure out where the stone is. Has it come close to me being at the bar? Is it sort of just scattered amongst the crowd? Because I want to try and get a fix on it. If I'd have been watching it the entire time, could I keep a good track on it?
It would have to be passive perception because you did also do your action at the time.
Yeah, of course.
And you weren't aware that it was going to go flying off into the middle of the room because you weren't aware that Jax was going to shoot it. So passive perception,
okay.
please.
It's not much better than his. Is only 11.
Yeah, unfortunately. You know the rough sort of area. It's gone very much into the center of the room.
Is there anyone behind the bar?
Yeah.
Anyone who's going to hurt me behind the bar?
Well, I mean, there's certainly someone that looks like they could hurt you behind the bar. It's a very tall. God, what did I write this down? Hang on. Oh, it's a Goliath. Sorry, yeah, there is a Goliath behind the bar with a long sideburns and a little tuft on the top of their head, and like a sort of neckerchief bandana hanging down, and a very open shirt.
Not being able to focus on what he wants to focus on and trying to think of where this thing could be. Looking at the guy that's charging towards him, as it's the only one charging towards him. Artemis is going to look to them, put a hand to his temple, and just hold out and essentially open the guy's mind to what it must be like to hear all the thoughts around him as I cast dissonant whispers. And basically give him a small amount of psychic knowledge before whatever happens to him. So he needs to make a wisdom save of 15.
I think as a result, his head explodes, right, DM?
That seems pretty mean.
Not just yet. There's been a couple of head pops, but not so far. The save is a 5.
Okay, so this is...
Do you know what? I like being the DM because I don't mind rolling shit now. And I have been rolling real bad.
So that is... I do know this. I'm looking at it right now. There we go. So it doesn't 46. So that is 6, 7, 8, 9. Much better. 14 points of psychic damage.
Okay.
To this guy, and
There's other effects too, just
yeah, there is.
I'll move away.
The creature, if available, to move as far away from you as speed as it allows from you. The creature doesn't move into obvious danger, such as fire or anything like that, and so has to run away from you essentially.
Okay, as you reach out your hand and you begin to open up the channel, both in your mind and through your abilities, open up the channel in this person's mind, you hear, "Open the door." And their eyes start to bleed and they turn and start running away from you.
As Artemis sort of finishes that and he sort of pulls his hand down, he's just going to lean on the bar and look to the barkeep and go, "Well, I hope there's not going to be any trouble between us now, friend, huh?"
Make a persuasion check. You can do intimidation if you want.
I have pluses in all the things because I'm a charisma character. Weirdly,
Whichever you
let's try
want.
intimidation.
Cool.
Yeah, okay, we'll go for intimidation. That's a 15 on the intimidation.
God, I'm rolling so bad. That was an 8. So yeah, they you see that they were. You as you turn and say that to them, you catch them very much with one arm under the bar, but then they lean back and bring up empty hands.
Nice.
Next up is where all the thugs get to hit you guys. Dan, you're invisible.
Yep.
So I'm going to go in. Actually, I'm going to go in initiative order of who's getting hit. So Jax,
Yep, hi.
you've got a couple of people next to you.
Uh-huh.
They're going to take an attack against you. It's going to be a +3 on each. Fucking hell, man! One's a 1.
No.
One's a 12 for a 14. +3, 15 to hit.
Yep.
15 hits.
Here's my AC.
Okay, cool. You take that's 9 points of damage. Unfortunately.
Yep.
But the other one whiffs. Yeah, so you get these two guys. One of them's a goblin. One of them's a human with a balding head and a big scar across his eye. The one that misses you is a thrown knife. He throws at you, and you kind of whoop, and it into the pillar next to you. The other one just comes back with a bat and just clocks you on the back of the head. Any reactions or anything? No.
Nope, I'm just a guy.
Okay, cool. Next up, Artorius. There is 5 people flailing wildly in your general area. They're all going to make attacks with disadvantage.
Story of his life.
So that one definitely doesn't hit. That one definitely doesn't hit. That one definitely doesn't hit. I got 2 1s in that, by the way. But there is a 12 for a 15.
Nope.
Also doesn't hit. Okay. Oh wait, those should have been with disadvantage. So
I've just realised I don't have armour.
probably put some of that on.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Fine, you can get some. You can get some. We'll get to that.
I'll get some, it's fine.
Okay, Artorius, you are deftly listening out to the whooshes and flails of people just flinging around in the area that you once were. They're still kind of under the effect of your command. They're trying to find you. They're trying to get you, but you're just
Good.
smoke in the wind.
Yeah, man. Like that. Love that.
Marcus, there is multiple people around Regent, and they turn their attention to you. You're going to take 3 attacks.
Yep.
One of them is a 14.
Miss.
One of them is a 7. Miss. The other one is a 18.
Reaction, Curse of the Eyeless on that
Okay.
person. So I just
Describe that
reach
to me.
up my arm, and the eyes start to bleed and turn black for a split second.
Okay, how does that affect their attack?
I was
Or
going to
is
say,
it
it's a good job
I
I'm
roll-
fucking blind.
I roll the d6 and subtract that from their roll.
okay, so you've got an 18 right now. Let's have the roll.
That's a 4,
4, bringing it down to a 14.
and that's a miss.
And that's a miss. Beautiful. So this one guy with a very large bat, spiked bat with kind of like almost shark teeth edge to the wood that's been carved out, just goes to swing at you as you dodge these other 2 attacks. And as you dodge, you just stop to meet them gaze, and they pause with them all over their head. Blood begins to run down their eyes, and they squint a little bit and go to finish the swing, but you step aside.
I'm just gonna turn to Regent and go, so you want me as a meat shield, right?
Regent's going to take 2 attacks. Both hit.
I failed at my job, I guess.
Oh, not bad. So 4 points of damage. I rolled 2 1s on a d8. Okay, yeah. So Regent just goes, I mean, yeah, that would help actually, but I need you for a bit more than. You get hit. Ah, you fucking gets hit again. He's like, well, come on in, do your job. Lumi, you are revealed now because you let off your spell, your color spray.
Yep.
You were fairly concealed before, so you were sort of one of the last people that everyone's noticed. So you're only going to take 2 attacks.
Okay.
One of them is an 18. The other one is a 14.
That doesn't hit.
Okay, so the 18 is 8 points of damage.
Okay.
Okay, and it's your turn.
So the guy that just hit me, I'm gonna look straight up at him and I'm gonna stab him in the knee with my rapier.
Okay, go ahead, make an attack.
Can I take damage from that? Fuck me.
In the knee.
Yeah.
Right in the kneecap. Oh, I should roll to hit first, not just the damage. That's a 19.
Okay, 19 does hit, yeah.
And I rolled a 4 on the dice, plus 3.
I'll
7.
say purely for first episode fun vibes, I'll let this be a sneak attack. There's a lot going on right now.
Okay.
Like, oh, they launched something at you, and then you kind of scurried around a little bit, and they feel this pin in their knee from the rapier.
Pin in the knee. 46 damage.
6 is...
Because we want to know what these characters can do, right, guys? We want to know how much damage they can really do.
Oh, that's much better. So with the sneak attack is 7 plus 5, so that's 12. Plus the other 7 from the actual attack is
7 plus 12,
19.
22. 19.
19.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, 19. Yeah.
I thought it was 19. Ooh, just shy of a kill shot, but I will say that this is a very painful shot. Explain to me how this wounds this person so badly.
So I'm looking to stab. So as he's obviously stepped forward to hit down, the knee's sort of bent, and I'm stabbing it up into his kneecap, into his leg, like
from the back.
Yeah.
Oh, back of the knee. Oh, so that the tip of it pokes up through his thigh. He immediately falls to the floor, holding his leg, crying out in pain. Anything else you want to do?
Bonus action. So Arturus is invisible.
Yes.
I'm glad we've established that.
Yep.
Facts.
And Jack has a gun.
I'm just going. I'm gonna see if I can see the stone. I'm not, because I've got a very high perception. I'm not moving towards it. I'm not moving. I just want to just make sure that no one else has it, sort of thing.
Sure.
I just want to.
You've taken an action, so you can't take the search action or the You can't take perception as an action. But what's your passive perception?
16.
16. Do you know what? I'm going to take that as fate. I rolled a 16, so yeah, you see a twinkle, sort of and you see the large grey half-orc. He's sort of clawing along the floor, avoiding feet and avoiding chains and daggers and bullets that are flying everywhere. And you follow where he is crawling to, and you spot this tiny little sort of greyish white glint from between all these moving feet.
That's my turn.
Okay, fine. Back up to top of initiative, Jax.
Okay, just out of curiosity, looking up at the ceiling, are there like rafters or?
No, it's just
Straight.
flat roof.
Okay,
It's not a very tall ceiling.
all right then.
There's upper floors. So.
Right. In which case, I am just going to. Well, first of all, I'm going to bonus action second wind because I have been hurt quite a little
Okay.
bit. Quite
Pull
a
yourself
little
up.
bit. Yeah, so I get 14 hit points back, which is amazing. And then I am going to. My eyes kind of seeing Gilly kind of freak this guy out enough, and the bartender kind of feel like he's got that covered now. So my attention is back on the half-orc individual. And you said he's on the ground crawling?
Yeah.
Okay.
You sort of spot him crawling through the legs, sort of around the legs of people that are fighting over. A couple of people trip over him as they're sort of wrestling around. It's complete bedlam.
So
But
I'm
you-
ignoring all the people behind around me, and I am gonna fire a violent shot at him. I assume a disadvantage because he is he technically
He's
prone?
prone. Yeah, he is prone. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not going to do sharpshooter because it's disadvantageous. So it is. That's not too bad. That is a 15.
14 is his armor class, so that does hit.
Amazing. So violent shot, I get double the damage. Well, extra damage die. 2 9s on the damage die, so that is 22 points of damage
Okay, cool.
on half-orc guy.
So you see the shot kind of pierces into his sort of shoulder and his arm as he's reaching forward.
I then want to kind of, if there's a table around me, I want to spring up onto the table.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure, there's
to
multiple
get
tables.
Bit of an aerial view. So you see, like, just from standing, Jack seems to be almost propelled in the air slightly before slowly, like, lowering back onto the table itself before taking another shot at the half-orc again.
Yeah, and an unnaturally springy jump for someone
Yeah.
of their stature and build. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I am going to... Oh, I'll attempt to make this a sharpshooter. I'm hoping the disadvantage doesn't mess me up.
Okay.
The disadvantage messed me up.
Oh no!
Yeah, it's a 7.
Yeah, that's fine. So the first shot hit them in the arm, and they kind of they roll over from their front onto their back. Your second shot hits where they were previously lying before they rolled, and wood chips fly into the air.
Action surge.
Action surge, let's go, baby!
Let's go!
Kind of, this guy is just kind of being a nuisance now, so I'm going to go to you said that there was the individual with the monocle. Was it the Triton?
Yes, there's a Triton. They are kind of almost peeking around the office door a little bit. Not so much as to give them a cover or anything like that.
No.
Maybe
But
like
they're kind of like staying out of it then, yeah?
Yeah, they look very scared. Their bottom lip is kind of quivering a little bit.
Shoot him in the monocle.
No, I'm not. If they're staying out of it, Jax is not going to engage with them then. So I will go for the people near the one that just hit Regent.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sharpshooter.
This sort of bugbear dude with a big, long, sort of ZZ Top beard.
Nice. 17.
17 hits.
Sharpshooter. Okay. That is only 8 points of damage. No, it's not. It's 18. It's 18.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Yeah.
18 points of damage. Marcus, as this Regent turns to you and says, what are you doing? Do your job then. One of them just gets misted behind him. Head not destroyed, not exploded his head this time, but just very much like took off part of the jaw. And back to the floor.
And then we'll go for someone else.
Someone else. There's lots of them. Are you trying to keep people away from Regent? Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
There's plenty around.
So I rolled before I called it because I'm dumb. So 25 to hit. And
12 hits, yeah, sorry, yeah.
12 points.
Didn't think you needed me to clarify that.
No. I didn't. I don't know why I paused. I realised I was like, I assume that'll hit. 12 points of damage.
12 points of damage to another one. Shoots the chain out of their hand. You're quite effectively with your action surge keeping people off of the Regent. Regent calls out, "The stone! The fucking stone!" It is the big guy's turn. He turns over and looks up to Jax with holding his arm, and then looks over to Regent. He begins stepping towards, gets up, begins running towards the Regent, but gets to Marcus first. He's going to pull out 2 hand axes from his large double-breasted suit coat, and he's going to take 2 attacks at Marcus. First one is a 17 to hit.
Yep, hits.
Okay, second one is a 22 to hit. Sorry guys, they're coming out now. Is it one of those? Yes, it's one of those. First attack is only 6 points of damage. Second attack is 8 points of damage. He just comes at you, and in one swoop, 2 slashes across your chest. Get out of my bar, you pieces of shit! You're getting in the way of my plans! Arturius, you're up.
Okay. So I'm going to center myself in the moment.
Okay.
I'm going to almost slowing time in my own mind, hearing tables, hearing axes being slashed, hearing the chains of other weapons hit the ground, and almost like disabling those noises in my head. I want to raise a boot and slam my foot on the ground, and I want to search for an object, but I'm listening distinctly for a jump and hit on the ground to try and find this stone.
You center yourself. You begin to drown out the cacophony, the shouts, the combat, the gunfire. You begin to listen to your heartbeat. Boom, 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 boom. You raise your foot, and as your foot reaches its apex before you slam it down, one more heartbeat, boom, boom, and you see within your mind's eye the outline of a jagged figure looming towards you. You poof, slam your foot down. Make a perception check for me.
Oh, big money! Okay, that's a 19 for a 19.
Nice.
You slam your foot down, and drowning out all the other sounds, you hear a ding, 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 about 10 feet to your right.
My gaze, not that anyone can see, just straight to it. I will move the movement.
You're the one
to
who
it.
can't see.
Yeah, everybody else can see it.
Everyone else is invisible.
I am invisible, so no one can see me turn. So I turn to where the stone is, move the movement to pick it up, and I immediately just whip it up, open the breast of my waistcoat, slip it into the inside pocket, so it will now disappear.
Okay.
Because it's part of my personage.
It does. It does.
I then move the rest of my movement. I will and I will start moving towards the door.
Okay.
Before I do so, I will bonus. Oh, wait. No, I won't bonus action cast that. I will woof, and I will move.
Yeah, you're going towards the door, or?
How far away is the? So I can see. Well, I can't see anybody, but I heard
you can pick out different people through your special.
Yeah. So but I heard the get me the stone, right?
Yeah.
How far away is the dude? Is he 20 feet away, if not less?
I would say he's about 15 feet away. You kind of moved along to the side, and he's sort of above you, more towards the office door.
Okay. I will move the 15 feet to him.
Okay.
So I have free action, pick it up, and I have searched as my action.
Yeah.
Can I, as my bonus action, I will negate my bonus action, and as he pulls his hand down from lighting his cigarette from Marcus's maul, I want to just slip the stone into his hand, and then I want to use the remaining 5 feet to step over him, and now I will draw my greatsword.
Okay, cool. You do. You step towards him, and as you see him, he sort of lights the maul off, lights the cigarette off Marcus's maul. Takes a drag. The stone! Get me the stone! And into his hand, he feels palmed the stone. You see him look, and then you see him look at you. And nod.
But then I draw, like I say, I draw the greatsword, and I'm not stood over his chest. I'm stood over his
He's stood
waist.
up now. He's gone up. He's gone up.
Oh right, okay. Then I
he
kind
got
of
up as Marcus was coming towards him.
then wherever he is positioned and faced, I kind of step into in front of him and just draw the greatsword out and just hold it in front of him.
Okay. Yeah. He when he looks at you and he nods, you are still invisible, by the way.
I realise that.
Okay. Very good turn. Well done, Artorias. Marcus, you're up.
So after getting slashed by the half orc, Marcus is just gonna get an even wider smile and try and smack one of the axes away before taking a swing at this dude. So first attack is 13 plus 8, so 21.
Yeah, that hits.
And that is 8 plus 5 is 13 plus 3 is 16. So
Okay,
3
16.
fire damage out of those.
So out of those, that's not 3 on top. That's 16, 3 of which is fire damage, yeah?
Yeah, 3 of which is fire damage. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that hits. He takes that damage, and he is not happy about it. It kind of gets him in the gut.
And then I'm gonna take a second swing,
Okay.
and that is 18 plus 8.
That hits.
For 9 plus 5, so 14 plus 2 fire damage on top of that, so 16 again.
16 again. He's looking very, very bad. This last one, you grab it into his stomach, and the next one, you uppercut him. And as he does, Marcus and Artorias, you see his grimace sort of turn as he's hitting the jaw. And he sees the stone in Regent's hand as Regent turns almost in slow motion. Is anything else on your turn, Marcus?
Yeah, so with the second swing, as I swing him, swing the maul up onto his face, he also starts to feel a searing pain underneath his jaw as I brand him with my brand of castigation.
Okay, cool. So explain that to us.
So now whenever he attacks me or another person that I can see within 5 feet of me, he takes 3 psychic damage, and I always know where he is.
Nice.
As long as he's on the same plane.
That would include both Artorias and the Regent. You guys are kind of clustered. You, Artorias, the Regent, and this guy are kind of clustered in a little space right now, as well as many other people around you. Artemis, what are you up to?
Just casually leaning against the bar, trying to be tough.
Succeeding.
Yeah, it's working so far. How many just regular fighting individuals are still left, either colorblind, blinded, or hypnotized by the pattern?
How many are still underneath the thing of the pattern?
Yeah, like how many just sort of in one sort of cluster do you think there is? Like 20 foot by 20, roughly.
20 foot by 20 foot. I'd say roughly, 6.
Cool, that's fine. As the big half orc sort of
Crowded part.
Yeah, that's cool. We'll sort that out. As the orc sort of says, "This is my bar, get out," and starts getting clocked by the people he works for, Arma sort of pushes off of the bar ever so slightly. And as that whisper went into his head, open the door, he goes, "Well, I suppose I could, but it'd be bad for everyone, but maybe it won't be. Who knows? We'll just try and see what happens. It's not your bar anymore, it's ours." And as he does this, you watch as the holographic image of the cuttlefish shifts into this sort of pitch black ichor, and the tentacles start to reach down and wrap around this 20-foot space as you hear like a ripping and a sort of as I cast Hunger of Hadar in a 20-foot radius within the bar, and anything within it is now blind, stuck in different terrain, and takes cold damage if it ends its turn there, and acid if it starts its turn there.
Okay. I'm going to have you just roll the damage for 6 people taking that acid damage right now.
Okay. So
you can roll it once and then apply it to all 6 people. I think that's probably the best way to do it.
The first lot is cold, so that is... The first lot is 10 points of cold damage. as the because it's first cold and then it's acid afterwards.
Well, it's cold when they end their turn. It's acid when they start their turn, right?
Yes, they have to make a dexterity saving throw or take the acid damage. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay, rolled an 8. Dexterity will say is +1, so it's a 9.
Yeah, so that would fail. It's a dex
They
15.
all fucking take it.
Yeah. So,
God.
and then it's 12 points of acid damage.
12 points of acid damage. You all see this sort of spreading ichor fill the ceiling, and then these tentacles grab onto different. It begins throwing these people around the room. You hear them sizzling. The wails of these people turn from sort of violent combat to just suffering. As they're being thrown around and burning. And it's definitely keeping them occupied. Anything else you want to do on your turn?
No, so that stays up as Artemis just sort of pushes off the bar and tries to, as much as the orc is in combat, catch his eye, and he just sees the sort of chromatic energy around his hair as he just holds his hands to the sides as you watch this massive black whirlpool of just emptiness behind him, crackling and whispering and slithering and sound. Just
What are you doing? What are you doing? Like you hear in your head.
And then you just sort of see Artemis just like, this is our bar now, you know? We just wanted the stone, you didn't have to fight.
Okay.
And that'll be his turn.
Cool. Very good turn. Thank you very much. Lumi!
Seeing all this happen, scared a little bit. She was looking at the end of her last turn at the stone.
Yes.
Did she notice it disappear?
You did.
Okay.
You noticed it kind of whoop, into nothing.
Okay. With that, seeing Marcus get attacked, she's going to bonus action disengage. How far away is the guy that is hitting on Marcus? Not hitting on Marcus.
Not that kind of bar. 15 feet? 25 feet. Marcus was
Right.
kind of...
So, I'm going to bonus action disengage so no one else hits
do
me.
that.
Fly right up behind that guy, and I'm going to try and slit his throat with my rapier.
Go ahead, do that.
Sick.
I'll say because Marcus is engaged with this person, you are flanking, it is sneak attack.
Thank you. So,
you have advantage.
to hit. Oh, got 19.
More than enough.
Plus 6. So, yeah, stuff.
These
Right.
guys are 13 AC, you're fine. Apart from the big guy, he's got 14.
Okay, that is 10 for the rapier, and then sneak attack. 11. No. Yeah, 11 plus 3 is 14. So that is 24.
Okay. You come back and you kind of
I'm hovering behind him.
you Marcus, you turn to this guy who's been accosting you. Are you talking about the main guy, the big guy?
Is that the one he took two hand
two
axes and hit?
axes.
Yeah, that guy then, yeah.
Yeah. You see, as he's sort of as you clock him with the maul in the chin and he turns, you see his face change to one of desperation and fear and anger as he sees this stone appear in the Regent's hand. But just as he reaches to go from it, he stops as just a single goes through the Adam's apple of his neck and then out to the side. His head kind of Pez dispenses off to the side and falls. Anything else on your turn, Libby?
Bonus action.
Combat's different from me, guys. I like getting gross.
Yeah, I love it. I'm all about it.
Wonderful.
You'll be hearing about a lot of Pez dispensers this campaign. One of my go-tos.
As that guy falls and you just see Lumi behind him, she's just gonna go, "Oh, that's gross!" As she's like flicking like viscera off her thing. But that's it. That's her turn.
And you are right. It is gross. It is now, despite the fact that their leader has gone down, the bedlam in this place is massive. The fight continues. I'm going to roll the attacks against all of you. Artorius, are you visible now when you drew your longsword, or are you still invisible?
No, I have not attacked anybody.
Okay, I'm going to give you 2 attacks with disadvantage. First one is a 7, second one is a 13.
13 misses.
Both miss. So that was a 7 with disadvantage and a 13 with disadvantage. Jax, you're kind of up on a table now. I'm just going to give you 2 attacks. There's a 2 and a 16.
16 hits.
16 hits. You take 6 points of damage. Oh, wait. Hold that for now. Artemis, having pulled out these black tentacles everywhere, a couple of people more focused on you now. You're going to take 2 attacks. First one is an 18. Second one is a 19.
Those definitely hit.
Okay, both hit. Lumi, having taken out the commander, there are 4 people coming at you. Having taken out their lead. There's a 16, a 15, a natural 20, and a 14.
So 3 of those hit,
So
including the natural 20.
Only the 14 misses.
Only the 14 misses.
Okay, Marcus, you're getting 3. There's 2 13s and another natural 20.
I'm gonna use my reaction to do another Curse of the Eyeless on the nat 20.
Okay. As you do, all of these people coming back at you as you've just been decimating their friends. There is a flash, a wave of bright white light from the center of the room. You all kind of flinch and close your eyes, and as you come back to vision of the room, everyone is frozen still. Some of them with axes inches away from your necks, but everyone is frozen in time. The dust hangs still in the air. There's this moment where you guys are sort of trying to figure out what the hell is going on, when from the center of the room, out from the crowd, whoa, God, fucking hell. Regent stands up. Atop his head, a circlet with a silvery glowing stone in the middle of it. Different to the circlet that Jax shot off the other guy's head. This one far more pristine, far more silvery, almost pearlescent. Oh, God. Oh, that was a close one, wasn't it? He takes a stroke of his cigarette, and as he blows it, the smoke comes out of his mouth and then hangs in the air still. Oh, good job, everyone. We should probably make a move, before these lots start moving again.
Artorius stows his greatsword, not that anybody can see. For this point, I am keeping invisibility up.
Okay. Come on, let's go. Our work's done here. We got what we came for. He begins to walk out of the room. The trail of the smoke from the end of his cigarette leaves a perfect line of still, unmoving smoke that hangs in the air as he walks, almost like a trail. Every now and then, every puff he takes leaves a small blob of cloud of smoke just in the air, hanging behind him, unmoving. And he walks out the door.
Hops down from the table.
Everyone is...
Just kind of ruffles one of their hair.
What'd you do? Ruffles one of their hair?
Just ruffles their hair, yeah.
What do you do?
Hops down from the table and begins to follow Regent. And as he walks kind of in that direction near where Artorius is, kind of looks at him, and you just hear Artorius just hears a nice trick, and walks out of the room.
Can Jax see invisibility?
I've got blind sight. I can see that you're there. I can see invisible creatures.
Yep.
Okay. The rest of you? Is everyone leaving? People are just... There are some people who are in midair as if jumping towards the space where Jax once was, as he's now walked away.
In that case, I'm going to take a chair, and place it where I think that person's going to land.
Cool.
And then I'm going to walk out.
Seeing that, Lumi's going to get this massive smile on her face, and as she's following them out, she's going to tie as many shoelaces together as possible.
You haven't got much time to do this, so let me get a sleight of hand check from you, please. I'll tell you how many you get.
Sleight of hand, that's nice. That is 21.
Cool. Okay, you managed to tie at least 4 of these people's
She's just chuckling to
shoelaces
herself.
together as you're leaving. Artemis, this inky sort of puddle suspended from the ceiling to your eye is still kind of convulsing very, very slowly.
As
The tentacles are not. The tentacles, you can still see this kind of texture running down them, but they are still still.
he sort of places a hand to his head and goes, "Oh, too much. Shouldn't have gone that far. Don't open that door anymore." We don't talk. It's okay. And as he breaks the connection to the spell and watches it still linger in space, but kind of...
Yeah, it kind of just shrivels a little bit.
Yeah. Walking very quickly between people and out, he's going to sort of just put a finger through some smoke to sort of break it and watch it happen. Just out of curiosity,
Almost like forms a little horseshoe lake in it. Carry on.
Sort of in the realms of the business he's been in, does this strike him as something he may have heard about or seem familiar in any way? Like, this is a very specific kind of moment.
Make a history check for me. Or an arcana check, whichever you prefer.
Oh, we'll do arcana. Oh, that's good. Natural 20 for 23.
Natural 20?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
I'll take it for knowledge.
You do know about this. This is a known type of magic. It's dunamancy.
Mm-hmm.
It's magic of time. You immediately are able to recognize that time has stood still for everyone in this area, apart from your friends and the Regent.
Mm-hmm.
The helm, the kind of circlet that you saw the Regent, you now sort of piece together that you've heard of something like this before. You can't quite remember the name of it, but you've heard of a very old, very powerful artifact of dunamancy, and it is confirmed to you that as you step out of O'Gromley's, the birds around you are frozen. Everyone in the street is frozen. As far as you can see, there is a bell half-cocked to one side, mid-ring. The entire area that you can see around you is frozen in time. And you see the Regent walking back towards the fountain, this still sort of this almost snake of smoke that he's leaving behind, perfectly defined in the air as he walks, with this silly little circlet on his head, which definitely does not suit him. Like, it looks very out of place on this guy's head. It's clearly a very powerful and ancient artifact, but he's just a sad, wet little man.
As Artemis is the last one to come out and sort of notices all of this, he sort of clocks to see if anyone else notices it, and then seeing as they are frozen in time and believes that it's relatively safe to talk, he's like, this is dunamancy. That is powerful stuff. I've heard of something like this. Why do you? How?
Far too powerful to be in hands like that. And to be fair, they only had half of it. I had the other half. Or we had the other half, rather. Dan, what are you doing?
So whilst I'm invisible, I would like to walk behind the bar, pick up a full bottle of bourbon, bang it in my bag, like straight, just slip it in my bag.
Make an investigation check.
Are we stealing?
That is a 16, minus
16.
1 for a 15.
Hard pressed to find any decent alcohol in this place.
Yeah, no, like top shelf bottles, nothing.
Very much no.
Okay.
You do sort of, as you're looking through, you sort of look up at the bar from the bar through the frozen chaos, and you do notice that there is a nice bottle of bourbon on the desk of the office.
Yep, swipe that. And then as I'm walking out, I will pull out my dagger, and if any coin purses are on show with anybody that's like on my way out, I'm literally just cutting them off, banging them in my pocket. Boop, boop, boop. I got fucking bills to pay,
Gives a
bro.
perception check.
As well as my investigation, you want a perception as well?
This one was more, you were searching for something before. This one, you're more looking as you're leaving. So yeah.
Sure. That's a 14 for a 14.
Okay, you swipe 3 coin purses.
Sweet. Thank you.
I
will exit and I will keep invisibility up.
All right. You exit. Regent has stopped now by the fountain. Right, is everyone here? Hands up if you're not here. Right.
I
Great.
put my hand up, not that anyone can see.
Yeah, he looks at you and goes, very funny. All right, well.
Yeah, also looking around, who the fuck is raising their hand?
Right, well, job done then. I'd say you've passed your first test. Congratulations. Now, let's get out of here, shall we? He lifts the circlet off his head and the birds begin flapping again. You still hear some chaos coming from O'Gromley's. You guys are about sort of 80 or so feet away from the entrance to the bar now. The chaos kind of... Regent starts walking away towards the Silver Canal station.
Do we hear?
In the initial, as he takes it off, there is a lot of crashing, there is a lot of fumbling, but you're quite far away, so you just sort of hear the din of chaos. It starts to subside after about 10 seconds.
I follow Regent, but I follow next to where Jax is. And I would like to, if possible, with invisibility up, knowing that Jax can sense me at this point, slip the bottle of bourbon out of my bag and kind of jut it into their chest.
Mm-hmm. Cool. You
and
received it.
As they grab the bottle, I just kind of turn, nod, and walk a little bit faster.
Okay. Is everyone else following?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
Lumiere pauses before she actually goes. And aren't we still waiting for someone?
No, but you might want to hurry up.
You have to tell me twice. And she catches up.
Almost the moment that you begin moving away from O'Gromley's, it explodes.
Oh!
The whole bar explodes like a bomb went off within.
I walk quicker.
And you see Regent turn around and said, I told you should bloody hurry up. Come on, we've got a canal to catch. And he begins trotting off down the road, puts the circlet into his jacket and begins wandering off. You guys are just stood there like, what the fuck is going on today, man? But you keep after him. A bunch of Castiliers and cops begin sort of gathering around the scene and sort of trying to find out what's going on. You know, reports are going out of a fire in the city. But you guys just casually walk away from the scene, from a massive explosion.
Can I make a quick check to see if a special someone is coming along towards the scene?
Make a perception check.
Uh, 16.
As you begin to walk up the stairs onto the platform of the Silver Canal, you do notice a couple of Argent Star agents running down from the platform. Neither of which you recognize very personally, one of which you sort of recognize from the office a little bit, but
okay.
None that are personally familiar to you. But the Argent Star are on the scene, but not who you're looking for.
I'll just keep walking.
You guys bored?
Go on.
No, go.
As we're walking up those stairs, I'm just gonna send a message to Argent. We are the good guys, right?
Hard to say, but tell yourself that. It'll help.
Oh, okay.
You guys begin walking up. You board the Silver Canal as it takes you through the city, over the old King's Road, past the old keep and Cobblebank, until the Silver Canal cart that you're on board comes to rest at a central station in East Arches. Some of you have been to East Arches before. Indeed, some of you live very close to and inside East Arches. It's a very working class area of the city. It is terraced brick houses, almost World War II London kind of red brick terraced houses as far as the eye can see. A few little market stalls and things like that scattered around. You come onto a very familiar main thoroughfare called the Old Goodberry Road. It's one of the main trade lanes leading from the Lothgate in East Arches, which is one of the eastern gates to the city, all the way up to the Grand Market. The Old Goodberry Road is a very famous sort of transit way. And just off on the corner of Old Goodberry Road, you begin to walk following the Regent towards a dusty old tavern, and above it is a sign, that reads The Last Chance Saloon.
Of course it fucking does. I assume an hour has passed at this point.
About an hour has passed while you've been on the train, yeah.
As everybody disembarks from the train, I kind of like the invisibility drops and I get off afterwards. And as we're walking down Old Goodberry Lane, I kind of go, weather's nice, isn't it?
To who? To Regent?
Everybody.
Oh, okay.
I'm just kind of announcing my presence again. Weather's all right.
Oh, I was wondering where you've gone.
If
Oh, we lost you.
You call this nice weather, I'd hate to see what you call the shitty weather. It's kind of overcast.
Yeah. I don't fucking know that.
True.
I forget about the fact that he's blind.
I've got no idea. It's not raining, so it's nice.
Yeah, sure.
It's so much above my head that's insane.
We take those.
Oh,
We take those.
Just kind of turn, kind of to Artemis and go, yeah, nice.
Sure, it's outside.
Yeah, you like that, don't you? I'm a fan of inside and the whole light thing inside, right?
No, it's just the arcane lights are they buzz all the time, and I can hear it, and it's very distracting and annoying, and I don't like the non-light light.
Oh, it's sort of like tinnitus, when your ears kind of just constantly buzz, and you hear the thing that makes your head dizzy.
What? Who's tinnitus?
He means tinnitus.
Oh,
yeah, that what he just said.
I thought you wanted to go somewhere tonight. I'm sorry, I don't know.
No, I can't
Why were you
tonight.
invisible for
It's
so
nice
long?
of you. It's nice of you to offer, but I've got plans tonight.
Oh, come home! You see, Regent is standing presentary outside this dilapidated shithole of a basically abandoned tavern.
I have a home.
Yeah, I'm good. Where are we?
We're in East Arches.
Oh no.
Am I gonna get stabbed?
So,
Not if you stick around on the street for too long. Come on, let's go inside.
DM, I know this area.
You do know East Arches.
Right.
Yeah.
So, would I know this building to be abandoned or to be I know that the pubs in this area. So, would I know if this is?
Make a history check.
Okay. Oh, that's probably not gonna do it. That's a 9.
You don't know whether it's abandoned or not, but you certainly don't know anyone who drinks there.
As the Regent kind of walks off, I kind of just lean towards Marcus and go, all right, so where in the East Arches?
I don't fucking know, man. I don't think I've been to this area. I've been to East Arches before, but I don't know. It's some weird ass saloon.
Oh, cool. First round's on you. And he kind of pats you on the chest and begins to walk towards the door.
You walk in through the door, and it's not saloon doors. It's quite a heavy kind of, with a long handle that's kind of crooked and diagonal. Regent opens it and walks in, doesn't hold the door for anyone. And you kind of catch it as it's closing, Jax, and you walk in.
Yeah.
The rest of you follow.
You still haven't told us what we're doing here.
I'm getting to that. All right, come on. We can't talk about it. He walks through the center of this tavern room. It's quite a sparse tavern. There's only about 3 tables. There is a barman who is half tiefling, half minotaur. He is wearing a rolled up grey shirt.
And immediately starts drawing art.
I'm here.
And with a very big open chest. These horns that sort of go up and then curl round to point forwards. And a very square, thick jaw. He polishes a glass which in his hand looks like a shot glass, but is actually just like a half pint glass. He just polishes it. Doesn't even turn it. He turns his head to nod at Regent. Doesn't acknowledge any of the rest of you. Just keeps polishing his glass.
Walk up to the bar. Excuse me, miss. Whiskey.
And smoke out of his nostrils. You smell this sort of dank, musty, breathy air sweep across your face. No time for that now. Come on, we got drinks upstairs. You all deserve one.
Doesn't matter. Thanks for your time, madam. And he just turns and walks off.
There's a very low as you go past. The only other individual in this tavern is a very weedy looking old human man with a very round head and like sort of receded and sort of wispy hair at the sides, dark sallowed eyebrows, smoking a little cigarello over a small brandy. And you notice as you sort of walk in, he is fixed on the door, looking at everyone who comes in. But as they come in and they enter the tavern, his eyes don't follow them. He's just watching the door. Doesn't pay attention to any of you guys as you walk through the tavern. You reach towards the end. There's a large cabinet of dusty glasses. And Regent pulls a lever towards one side. The dusty glass cabinet opens, leading to a spiral staircase. You ascend all together the spiral staircase, and you come to a filled archway. It's a stone archway at the top of these stairs with a flat, almost stone or concrete surface in its portal. And within that sort of stone surface, there is a crest with a very sort of long-nosed, long-chinned kind of face like that, almost like the nose drops down over the mouth and its eyes are closed. It's sort of low like that. Regent walks over. Oh, morning, House. How are you doing? The eyes open.
Good morning, sir. A good day to you. How goes your travels amongst the city?
Yeah, very well, mate. Very well. Do you mind letting us in, please?
Of course, sir. You may enter.
The whole arch, the whole interior stone part of the archway and turns slightly to the side. It doesn't open fully. It leaves only sort of ajar, enough of a crack for people, one single file line of people to walk through. As you all walk through, some of you sort of glance to see the other side of the door, and what you see is sort of the neck, back and shoulders of a individual wearing sort of a butler's outfit, very sort of hunched back, and he has 8 arms. This is all entirely stone, entirely made out of stone and metal. 8 arms, each with scimitars pointed at the door, as if it could immediately just shove 8 scimitars at whoever approaches the door who isn't supposed to be there. He goes, as you all walk through, he goes, come on, in you come, in you come, in you come.
Your door is weird. I like it.
I think they might have scoliosis.
He goes, thank you, House. The door goes,
Of course, master.
and closes. You turn to take in your surroundings, and you are very much in something that you are used to, Marcus. It's almost like half a classroom, half a detective's briefing room. There is a large chalkboard towards the back, several small tables with chairs facing the chalkboard. There is another visage of this old man with the long chin and the long nose above the chalkboard. And one other thing you notice as you come in, that there is an individual standing by the chalkboard, holding a clipboard, this very kind of upright, very sort of tightly clothed and very smart looking, very official looking figure of a woman, wearing sort of a pencil skirt and a white blouse with a cravat. As they turn round, the sort of short black hair flicks to one side, and you see the beginnings of horns creeping back, or just one horn creeping back into the sort of, not mess, but this kind of spiky wave of hair, the jet black hair. Their skin is kind of almost sort of human, sort of Caucasian coloured skin, but with a slightly pink tone to it around the sort of edges of the nose and around the eyes and around the jawline, kind of pinky and pearlescent, their skin. And as they do turn around, you sort of get the side, and there are two little spikes of horns just protruding very slightly from the back of their hair. And Regent walks through and, without looking at them, goes, "Morning, Effie." And the lady says, "Yes, good afternoon, Regent. Is this them?" "Yeah, these are the ones. I'll let you do the debrief. If you don't mind, I've got some business to take care of in my office." She turns to take in the rest of you, pulls down the glasses, these kind of winged glasses that she's wearing, and the runed earrings sort of glint a little bit as she turns to take you in. "Very well. Thank you, Regent. I'll debrief them from here. I trust the mission was a success." "Oh, absolutely." And he holds up the circlet. "Very well. I'll make the proper arrangements. Please be seated." And she steps forward into the front of the chalkboard.
Right. Okay.
"Please be seated."
I'll go and sit down.
Thank you, Marcus.
Jax goes to kind of like one of the little desks nearer the back, just plonks himself down and puts his boots up on the table.
You can come forward, Jasper. You'll need to hear this.
Oh, Jasper. That
No,
makes sense.
Your name's Jasper?
no,
Very well.
it's Jax.
Lieutenant Westwood, how's that?
Jax.
Very well, Jax. Come on.
Lieutenant?
Artorius will make a beeline for one of the desks at the front. Take his greatsword off, lean it against the desk, sit down, and just kind of lean
On the
forward
ball
a
as
little
al-
bit.
On the ball as always, Sir Montague. Thank you.
Lumiel flies forward and takes one of the other desks right at the front, but instead of sitting on the chair, she sits cross-legged on top of the table. But she's got bright eyes, and she is paying full attention.
Come, Artemis. There is nothing to be afraid of. There is no danger here.
Oh, there's plenty of things to be afraid of, but sure. Okay. Oh no, social. Who should I sit next to?
Wherever you like, dear.
Oh, that's not what I want. Okay, fine. My decisions, I guess. Sure. And he just sort of like stumbles ever so slightly, picks the desk directly in the middle, not too far from the back, not too far from the front, and just sort of sits there, hands in pocket, sort of like in an L shape, just kind of looking slightly towards the chalkboard, but kind of unsure of where he should go.
Well, it's a delight to meet you all finally. House, and you see the closed eyes stone face above the chalkboard animates.
Yes, Miss Fortress.
Please bring down the rest of the staff.
Of course, milady.
And he goes back into his stone form. Well, I'm sure you're all wondering what has brought you here today and what the events of today mean for you. Am I right?
Were you called Fortress at birth, or is that your code name? Sorry, he called you Fortress. I just have to know.
No, it is a good question, and well observed. My name is Fortress, or thus is how you shall refer to me. The man you have met is Regent, and hopefully soon you'll meet some of our other cohorts. You are not required to take code names, but if you wish to, it's fine. We will know you as your names, but you will know me as Fortress, and only Fortress. Am I understood?
Yes, Fortress.
Bomb.
Wonderful. The door opens on the other side of the room to where you came in towards the back, near where you're sitting, Jax. And a couple of people step out. There is, at first, a kind of leather waistcoat wearing and bandana-clad, large, sort of black circular glasses step down. A haze of funny-smelling smoke sort of follows him out.
Did you ring me, Fortress? Is there something you need?
Yes, the new recruits have arrived. We're doing a debrief.
Oh, yeah, sweet, man. Yeah, cool. All right. I'll sit anywhere then as usual, I suppose.
Yes, please, Bandolier. He sits down. Following him is a gnome, about 2.5 foot tall. Even for a gnome, he looks possibly late teens. He's got kind of little curtains going on, thick-rimmed glasses, pocket protector on his little blue polo shirt, and he's wearing some shorts with a little belt.
Hey, I didn't expect you to call today.
Yes, please sit down, Quill. He goes, okay, yeah, sure, no worries.
Is this them? This is so exciting. I can't wait to meet them.
Please sit down, Quill.
Okay, you're the boss. Well, not the boss, but you know what I mean.
Quill.
Sorry.
Following Quill, this small, sort of little nerdy gnome dude, you see two other individuals. One of them is a bugbear, very tall, almost 7 feet tall, and is wearing kind of sort of road, like a waistcoat with like a few leather patches on it, a rough shirt that's kind of torn in a few places, and leather trousers with like rips on the knees and stuff like that, even in leather, which is odd. You sort of look at it a little bit closer, you're not sure whether it's ripped or chewed. And he kind of walks in, sits down at the back next sort of across the room from where you are, Jax, and just kind of looks over at you. This big underbite and this one snaggle tooth poking up. Just looks at you.
Kind of initially look at him and then look back to the front.
On your shoulders, hands with long fingernails.
Don't worry about him, honey. He just likes new faces, but he ain't gonna hurt you.
And stepping away, you see a red tiefling with a sort of short crop of almost spiky hair, very 80s kind of hairstyle, a lightning bolt tattoo down the neck, and a big sort of medallion chain with dog tags on it. Cut off jean jacket and cargo shorts, big sort of boots with rolled up socks. They just kind of sort of sit and like very much kind of like where they put one leg up on the arm of the chair that they sit on, and like kind of just looking at you, Jax. Just like.
I think Jax just kind of like flushes like slightly and just like waves back before kind of like looking around and trying to clock eyes with anyone else in the room, and it's just like, I should not have sat at the back.
Yeah, for real. Fortress, once these all sat down. Good. We are all here. Friends, I'd like you to meet our new recruits. In fact, I'll allow you to introduce yourselves, given we have some confusion about how to address you. Why don't we start with you at the back there? Jax?
Jax. Just Jax. I don't want anything to do with Westwood. I don't want anything to do with what happened. Just Jax.
Very well. And you? Looks to you, Artorius, sitting at the front.
Sir Artorius Coriolanus Montague III. Former Crown's Guard, former Crown's Protector of the Prince Lucis, the House of Calum.
And you, young lady.
Okay, so my name is Lumiel, but you can call me Lumi. Most of my friends do. Yeah, that's probably all you really should. Oh, you probably know more, but that's all they should know.
Yes. And you, young sir? Looks to you, Marcus.
Marcus.
Short but to the point. I like that. And you there?
Oh,
Nervous one.
how can you not be nervous? There's so many people. Okay, I am Artemis J. Stringfield. The J stands for Jorel. That was my dad's name. I am a former agent of the Ministry of Seals. I had the code name Blue Gilly, so that's, you can call me that. We can repurpose it because I like the name Gil or Gilly. And then he just sort of plonks himself back down and stares at the floor once again.
Very well. Gil. Allow me to introduce myself. As you all know, I am Fortress. I am your Chief of Operations and Tactician Officer. The man you met before... We'll come to that. Please don't interrupt me.
Sorry, miss.
The man you met before, you will know as Regent. You all report to me, and we all report to the Regent. They are the head of this division. What they say goes. Sometimes might not seem logical, sometimes might not seem fair, but we do as they say. For the good of all of us. Understood?
Yes.
Understood? I expect a response when I ask these questions, people. Come on. I know you've had a rough day.
Mom.
Yes, Chief.
Understood.
What? Oh, sure. Why?
So many questions, Gil. Please.
A few answers
At the
given.
appropriate
I
moment.
can't help it.
This is Bandolier. He is our quartermaster. He will be able to acquire you any equipment you need. Please discuss with him any requirements you have for items, magical or otherwise.
Artorius turns, kind of like looks back towards Bandolier, kind of nods, and then turns back towards Fortress.
He kind of like just isn't really paying too much attention. He kind of looks at you and just kind of goes like, yeah, all right, fine. You can have a nod. This is Quill, our archivist and database analysis. Hey, everybody. I've been really looking forward to meeting all of you. I've heard some things about you. You know, our databases here are kind of a little bit rudimentary. We're hoping that maybe you guys can help us with some of that. Quill, please. Sorry. Yes, Quill.
As Quill starts going enough, you just see Artemis just very slowly turn away from the excitement.
You turn away and say, at the back there, you have Kran and Lizelle. We call them the dogs. If you require any dirty work done, if you require any leads chased down, they may be able to do it for you. We keep them in the dark for reasons. Lizelle pipes up. I once saw this guy wipe his ass and blow his nose with the same tissue. Fuck off! It was desperate times. Shops were closed.
Artorius again turns around and goes, in which fucking order?
And you see he kind of, and then the other one just kind of starts laughing. Oh, you know which order, honey. The bad one.
God.
They're all bad.
Us all together here are tasked with a very important task. There are forces which threaten the city of Valvaris, and indeed the greater continent, and indeed the world. Their webs and their claws often run deep. Therefore, we have been given complete autonomy from the rest of the government agencies of Valvaris. We do not report to them. They do not answer to us. We are completely separate, and we must keep it as such. This division has no name. It has no moniker. It doesn't exist. And now neither do you. Keep it that way. Do not discuss anything you learn within these walls or without on your missions with anyone you know. Am I understood?
No problem.
Yep. Yeah, understood.
Sure,
Thank
but I
you.
exist.
We're learning. See? We're getting to know each other. Isn't this wonderful? You will be assigned cases. When something comes across our way, when something is delivered to us that needs our special kind of attention, we will deliver them to you, and you will carry them out. Under mine and the Regent's orders. You have free use of all of our resources here, including that of Bandolier and Quill. Get to know them, use them well. They'll be vital in your operations. Any questions? Wrong answer. Now, soon we will have need of you again, but I recommend that you familiarize yourselves with each other and this building. There are some aspects of it which you might find surprising, and you should get to know before they surprise you in the wrong way. Back here, she sort of pulls out from between her tits a stopwatch on a chain that's round her neck. Back here in 2 hours for your first case, if you don't mind. Puts it away. You have been given a very important task here. One that you may not realize yet. The forces we face are not like those you have faced in your previous roles. They are insidious, and they want nothing more than the destruction of this society, sometimes all society. We like... how can I put this? Your superiors at your previous positions, they likely found your methods... how should I put this? Misdirected and problematic. We consider them just misaimed. We want you to do what you do best here, and you will not be under the scrutiny that you found in your previous positions. Use that luxury, but do not abuse it. We are not in the business of killing innocents, though it is sometimes an unfortunate necessity if information gets into the wrong hands. Well, I think that's a good enough debrief. Now you may ask questions, dear.
Thank you. So, if we're outside the law, but we do things that might be considered against it, would we get in trouble?
Oh, yes. I would recommend avoiding ruffling too many feathers. We can smooth over cracks where they emerge, if necessary. Just, if you get caught, deny. As long as you deny, we'll be able to help you. If you do not deny, we will have to take care of things in another way.
Okay.
Are you understanding me, Lumiel?
You see she shrinks a little bit.
And she's
Perfectly.
Make a wisdom saving throw for me.
Oh my god.
Round of
Saving
madness!
throw. That's a 5.
You take this very seriously.
Yeah.
You are committed to. You're never going to speak a word of this to anyone, ever.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're like, cool, I'm in. This is it for me now. I trust these people, and I'm loyal to these people to the end. That feeling sort of begins to subside after a few minutes, though. Well, as I said, there will be some evening's work. You have the afternoon if you wish to familiarize yourself, make any requests of Bandolier, or gain any information from Quill. She looks to the office behind, and it's kind of like one of those frosted glass kind of offices. And it's got a name of something on there, but it looks like it's been sort of chiseled off. And who's got the highest passive perception? Probably
Lumiel does. Mine's 15.
16.
I think Lumiel's 16, yeah.
You just about make the outline of a desk from behind the frosted glass with a pair of feet on it. The Regent is taking care of some important business. He will be back out when we are ready to give you your next task. Well done today. You have proven yourselves perfectly capable, but there is still very much more to prove. Stay sharp. Keep your mouths tightly closed amongst those you cannot trust, and even tighter amongst those that you can.
So we shouldn't talk to you guys then.
Oh no, you can't trust us.
Can I go home?
No.
Do I live here now?
You don't live here, darling. No.
So
You will
where-
maintain your lives in the greater city. As far as people, should you have anyone close to you, Artorias. Oh wait, no, you can't see. The rest of you notice that she glances briefly at Artorias. Artorias, you feel a glare on you, almost like someone's. You know when you've got your eyes and someone turns on a light. Got your eyes closed and someone turns on the light. You feel like this gaze wash over you at the moment she speaks about that.
I do not move. I do not flinch. I hold my position.
Anyway, there are things I must get to. You will find me here if you need me.
2 hours, you said?
1 hour and 52 minutes.
Good. I've got an appointment. And he just stands up, grabs his sword, and walks to the back of the room.
House will let you out if you ask nicely.
House?
And you see the face on the other side of the door. Oh, good evening, mister. What can I do for you today? On your way out, are you?
Yeah.
Right, well, we hope to have you back here soon. Thank you very much. You're always a welcome guest in the house.
Right. You want to open the thing then?
It is. It's opened
Oh,
ajar.
right,
The door only opens about.
I wouldn't know that.
you heard the.
Okay. Arthur just walks out, turns, bids house, thank you, walks down the stairs, out of the saloon, and off into the east walk.
As he leaves, one of the dogs gets up. The female one gets up. No need. Yeah. What? Whatever you say, darling. Fortress, please. Sorry. The rest of you are left within the walls of the house. What would you like to do?
Is there a gym?
There is a training area on the 4th floor.
Perfect. And I stand up and walk my way towards the 4th floor.
Okay, Quill gets up and sort of walks alongside you. So you're Marcus, right? You're Marcus, the one with all the, the crazy stuff that you put in you? How is that? How did they make that? I've really been trying to get my hand on some of the recipes. Maybe you can help me with that. We could make some new ones, Like, what is it? I don't know. What is it that you were doing before? You were Argent Star, right?
Well,
Yeah.
I think you and I are gonna get along quite well, but until then, shut the fuck up.
You've had. I understand, no problem. You've had a really long day. You look a little bit beat up, by the way. Come to me, I might be able to give you some help with that. But sure, no worries. We'll talk later. We'll get to know each other.
We'll talk later.
And he sort of leaves, and his eyes turn to you, Jax. You're a war diver, right? Sorry, are you the same as him? You look a little beat up as well.
I'm fine. Yeah. I was a war diver.
Quill, back to your archives, please. Yeah, of course, Fortress. I got some work to do. I'm sorry. I'm always really busy, but it's nice to get a chance to chat to you guys and meet you guys. You all seem really cool. Okay, bye.
Bye, Quill.
He runs back up the stairs. Bandolier has fallen asleep in his chair.
Is Fortress still in the room?
She has turned to study what looks like some floor plans on the chalkboard and is writing things on the chalkboard. She crosses out Jasper and writes Jax next to it.
Mm.
She's sort of updating her notes and her plans.
Yeah. Sort of looking to the back of Fortress, he is going to use his telepathic link to dial directly into Jax's mind, and while not looking to Jax, you're just going to hear in your head, I don't know if this Fortress lady is trustworthy, but should I read her mind? I can do that, you know.
You hear a visible, like, clunk as the chair that Jax had been, like, slightly, like, leaning back on slams to the ground. She's like... and just looks straight at the back of Artemis's head.
He just sort of, like, spins in place, not moving from the L shape, but just kind of moves around. And then looks directly towards you, and again, in your head, you sort of hear, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't tell you that, did I? I'm psionic.
Psionic.
Yeah, so my mind is open.
Oh.
I have
It's always good
powers.
to have an open mind.
I mean, yeah, I'm fairly open-minded to a lot of things, but I can bend and read minds and control minds and all that kind of stuff. And she's very intense, and I don't trust this place, so should I read her mind?
You
Can I
hear...
respond back telepathically or not?
Yeah, so it's a direct link between the two of us.
I will just gonna say, if I'm doing this right, I'd hold off for now.
Okay. I'll trust you on that one.
Push too many buttons.
Oh, they're pushing so many buttons already.
You guys all who are remaining in the room right now, so Lumiel, Jax, and Artemis, you hear the crashing of furniture breaking, and as this sort of telepathic conversation is interrupted, you all turn, and the dogs have been having an arm wrestle and have broken the table that they were having an arm wrestle on. Oh, fuck, I'm sorry, honey. Did I win? I won! Fortress sends back, you two have work to do. They both kind of... Well, the female one's... and the bugbear one is just kind of like, I definitely won that one. And they both leave.
Sort of standing pencil straight, hands in pockets. Artemis is going to look to Jax and then Lumia and just sort of... Should we go somewhere? I don't know. How big... Fortress, how big is this house and what's worth looking at?
The 4th floor is a training area. The 2nd floor you are on right now, this is the briefing room and Regent's office. The 3rd floor is the archivists and quartermasters. There are room and board on the 5th floor if you required. Do not go to the 6th floor.
What's on the 6th floor?
Somewhere you don't need to be.
Oh, that's interesting.
No, it's not.
I don't know. You say I can't be there. Now I kind of want to be there.
Maybe it's a test. She
I should
turns back
go
to the
there.
board.
He's just looking to the both of you. So let's go to the 6th floor. I want to find out what it is. If it's a test, I'm going to pass.
I was in a bad place because I did the bad thing, so I don't really. She scares me a little bit, and she like kind of lowers her voice, so she leans into Artemis, and she's just like, she scares the bejesus out of me, so I will not be going to the 6th floor.
I mean, it's just an act. I don't think she's actually scary. I mean,
Intense,
yeah, but all leader types are. It's just the way they put themselves forward. Scary.
Lumiel, as the person with the best passive perception, you're sort of glancing back at Fortress as she's writing something up on the top of the wall. When Artemis says, I don't think she's scary, she just reaches down and writes, I am, in chalk next to her.
I clock it, and I don't actually say anything. I was like, I can read
like one swift motion without even acknowledging it. She's writing, I am, and then just carries on writing.
I can read the room quite well. I think she is.
Oh, well. Do you want to know a really big secret? So am I. To a lot of people.
You see just these two very wide eyes, just like, okay.
Let's go wandering. I just sort of like shuffles out of the room and starts just meandering the corridors. Probably heading to the archivist's area first.
Okay, so you head to the 3rd floor.
Yes.
As you get to the 3rd floor, it's a landing with 2 doors either side. You look into one, the right-hand door, and it is a hazy, messy tinkerer's workshop with almost like a shop counter at the front, and behind that just like machines, pumps, pneumatics, loads of different stuff. And you see Bandolier there just sort of painting kind of what looks like a vase at first.
Warhammer figures.
Painting this vase. Oh no, you're all right. What can I? You need something, or?
It smells very specific in here. I feel like I've smelled it before, but I don't know why. You're Bandolier, aren't you?
Bandolier. A lot of people around here just I don't know, a lot of people call me Ban.
People call me Gil.
Gil? What? Gil? I can do Gil.
Do you have anything for like? I'm not really like an upfront fighter, I don't. But I need like protection from stuff that'll kill you.
Well, I mean, yeah, I've got some. You see, he kind of trails off.
Almost, he literally just he like the repetition keeps him going. Just like he's expecting an answer at some point. So these two are now locked in a death grip.
What was you want a weapon or?
No, I don't. My mind is my weapon. I need something for my body to protect that, so this can stay alive.
A body weapon,
or like armor or. Shield.
Oh, armor, all right, yeah, okay. I can probably do some more. Well, I mean, that's the thing with me, like if I haven't got it, I can probably make it. So you just, put your order in, couple days, I'll sling that by you. No worries.
And just armor for me, thank you. If you can make me something, that'd be helpful.
Yeah, sure, I'll make you some armor, no worries at all.
There'd be so many axe-wielding strangers in pubs that I'd have to be sucking into the inky black abyss.
Anything else you want? Anything a little bit more interesting? This conversation continues. The other two of you turn left, and you walk into a room with very sort of not harsh, but kind of almost like infrared-y kind of blue lighting in there. There is thousands of very carefully filed archives up all of the walls, wall to ceiling, all around every single wall apart from one. On the other wall that isn't surrounded by books, there is a chalkboard with lots of the usual strings and stuff, sort of things like that, connections and stuff like that. And on a little kind of almost motorized stool that kind of moves around at the will of Quill, he's sitting on top of it, and he's writing away in something, and no, that's not what they were looking for. Oh, hey guys, you finally came to visit. Welcome to my room. It's a little messy right now. I'm sorry. They didn't tell me you're actually coming today. This is a whole big surprise for me, and it's I've actually been really looking forward to it since I heard that you guys were coming. Especially, I mean, I've never actually met a war diver before, and I've heard a lot about them though. Yeah.
It's been 10 minutes since you last saw us.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah.
You said finally come to... Okay. They said you do data and...
Yeah, well, I mean, our archives are kind of sparse at the moment. Like, we probably don't have anything like, I don't know, I don't know. What did you were an arcane recovery agent, right?
Yeah.
Arcane contraband recovery agent, ACR. See, I know that.
You do.
I know a lot of things, actually. I know, so the war divers, did you know the war divers were established around 80 years ago for in response to the war with Moonshadow? Because, mages, they're really difficult to pin down if you march them with an army. So what they did is they created these mechanical... Yeah?
I know.
Oh, I was telling her.
I'd rather we don't talk about the war divers right now.
Really? But they're so cool.
They are cool.
Okay, we can talk about them later.
Yeah, we'll talk about them later.
Awesome.
Cool.
Did you want to talk about something else?
Sensing Jax's sort of hesitance around this, what is it exactly you do?
Who, me?
Yes.
I'm the archivist. I mean, I manage the database, the information that we've managed to gather. And like I said, it's kind of sparse at the moment. I mean, I only started about 2 months ago, and I'm still kind of building these together. I was really hoping that you guys, well, actually, kind of maybe not you guys, but that Marcus guy and Artemis, they probably had some access to some really interesting stuff before that I really want to know about. I mean, military records, that's kind of boring, but it could be useful, and everything's useful. Information is super useful, and that's what I do. I do information. So, if you can get hold of things, just bring them to me, and I'll chase down the leads. I'll make connect the dots if there are dots to be connected.
Is there a slow down button on you?
What do you mean? Oh no, I'm a gnome. I'm the bandolier. He can make some pretty cool stuff. I don't think I've seen him make an automaton before, but he probably could.
It was a joke. I apologize.
Oh. Ha!
Actually, dude.
While you guys are busy exploring the house.
Fuck.
Artorius.
Yo.
Where you heading, buddy?
I am heading into the suburb a little bit further.
So you're staying in East Arches?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I stay. Sorry, hold on. Point of clarification. I live in East Arches typically, right?
You are right. Sorry, my mistake. I'm getting the two mixed up.
Yeah. So so it's not where I live. I don't live in East Arches, do I?
We'll have to double check this. I'm pretty sure you live in Varvaden.
Exactly. Whereas in East Arches, yes,
in East
which
Arches
is where I'm going.
Where you're going. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
That's where I'm heading.
Okay. That's where you're heading. Okay.
Yep.
Cool. You begin to make your way through the streets of East Arches, the cobbled streets of East Arches. There's quite wide roads. The old Goodberry Road is quite a wide road because it's a main tradeway, but you sort of head towards, you head south towards Cobblebank and Old Keep, sort of on the border of Old Keep and Cobblebank in East Arches. You head down a little street, through a little archway into a little sort of residential courtyard where there are many sort of rows and rows and rows and rows of doors.
Mm-hmm.
You step up to a particular door.
Mm-hmm. And I open it and walk through. I do not knock. I open it and walk through.
You open it and walk through. You step into a dimly lit but fairly well maintained. You know, there's not dust everywhere. There's a couple of not nice, but decent rugs on the floor, which sort of cover some of the more decrepit floorboards. East Arches isn't a very affluent place. It's a working man's place, or a working people's place, sorry. And you step through the corridor, past the kitchen room on the right, into sort of the back living room space where there's a window onto a small community garden out the back. And sitting at a table by the window is a woman. Would you like to describe this woman?
Sure.
Without leaving out one particular detail?
Yes, I will. So this individual has fiery red hair, really long red hair, like right down to like the crest of their mid back. They are beautiful, like really kind of like defined cheeks and jaw. They are wearing a sort of cotton frock where the kind of the top half of the frock is a little bit tapered in, and as it gets to the waist it kind of like frills out a little bit, but on both shoulders there are these leather pauldrony type effects that come out of this this dress that this individual is wearing. And as Arthur walks in, he goes,
the head sort of turns a little bit to acknowledge you.
"Hey, you all right?"
Hello, my love. How are you?
I'm well. I'm sorry. I was working, and the case I was on, it's going on late. I know that you were expecting me home tonight for dinner, and
Arthur, you don't need to make excuses for me. You know that.
No, I know, but you know, it was gonna be date night, and we were gonna sit. And
she stands, rises from her chair, and turns to you, places hands on either side of your cheeks, and kind of turns you a little bit. Has it been a rough day?
I didn't fight. I promise. I have not fought anyone. There was a fight, but I illicitly was not involved. I told you I wouldn't fight again. I didn't fight.
You see, she kind of looks to you and says, "Has she been keeping you from me again?"
No. It really has been work today. And look, I didn't expect today to go to the way it has, and I ended up in a few things, and I need to work tonight, and I'm sorry. I told you tonight would be the night, and I told her that tonight would be a work night, but it genuinely is. It has become a work night.
She places a hand on your shoulder. Listen, Arthur, we've spoken about this. You don't need to apologize to me. You do so much for me already. You do so much for us. She takes your hand and places it on her belly. And I know sometimes you need to attend to your work and you need to attend to your wife, but we'll still be here.
Yeah. Hey, look. And he reaches in and he pulls out the 3 coin purses that he got, and he places them on the side near them, and he goes, "That should. I haven't counted it. It should cover you for a few more days. I'm getting paid at the end of the week. I'll go make sure the rent's paid, and
I've still got some left over from what you gave me before, so I'll use this for some paint. We can paint the room."
Yeah, just, can we do neutral colors? I know that you have this sense that it's going to be a boy, but I'd rather not, like, roll the dice on this and paint the whole room blue, like, if it's then a little girl.
It's going to be a strapping young lad like you, Arthur.
Let's go neutral. I'm feeling beige colors.
You're always feeling beige, dear.
Yeah,
and I bring the colour into your life, don't I?
You do. Hey, look, I only popped by. I gotta run. I gotta get back for this briefing that I've gotta do. But look, I'll be around first thing in the morning as soon as I get out of this shit.
She begins to smile at you like she does every time you sort of try to explain yourself, and she sees the guilt that you feel, but she wants none of it. She loves you. And she takes you by the shoulders and kisses your cheek. We're not going anywhere. You just come back to us, okay?
Always. I will. And he grabs her waist, pulls her in, and just always. I will always come back to you two.
She kind of, careful now. You'll hurt the baby.
Yeah,
Where we finish tonight's episode. Okay. Arthur's got some stuff going on.
Right?
Yeah.
You guys have completed your first induction mission into this strange division that you guys have joined. Each of you displaying your talents, strange and capable as you are. Let's see where this goes. Let's see how you can turn these talents to the protection of the people of Valvaris, of the people of Aerilon, and of the ones that you love. Thank you very much, guys, for joining us this evening. We hope you've enjoyed this first episode. There is so much more to come. It's going to get weirder. It's going to get more fun. Arthur isn't the only one with some stuff going on, so be ready for more strange and wonderful tales here at Tales on Tap. Thank you guys for playing in my new campaign.
Smashed the first episode.
So did
Thank you for
guys.
DMing.
Nice. Great work, everyone. Great work. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Join us again next week on Tuesday for the next episode of Aerilon, Sins of the Peacekeeper. Thank you for joining us here on Tales on Tap, and good night.
Bye, guys.
Yeah.